Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
All right, it's time for another Vital MX MotoXpod show presented by our wonderful sponsors, Racetech and Boyesen. There were no races to talk about this week, so I guess we'll talk some football. How do you feel about this, Scotty? You want to talk some football?
I feel a lot better about it than TJ does.
TJ, football talk?
Yeah.
All right. Niners
terrible.
Nation.
Oh,
Woo.
God.
Anyway, we'll see what we can come up with. I am excited about our guest lineup, which includes Star Racing Yamaha's Nate Thrasher, Mad Parts Kawasaki owner and racer Bubba Pauli, and we've got a pre-record with Luke Clout that I did the other day just because it's a pretty significant time difference. You guys should enjoy that, though. But once again, I have both my co-hosts in studio on his phone, supposed to be working the cameras and YouTube, but he can't be bothered. Scotty Thompson.
Do I need to show the YouTube that I've got that I'm chatting YouTube?
Well, that means you should worry about that. I'll handle the chat.
Oh, I gotta
Just messing with you. What's up, Scotty?
Hey, it's not much. Just glad to be here.
Are you?
Yeah, no, not really.
Okay.
It's been rough. The show just hadn't even started before.
Yeah.
All the off-air stuff, TJ. I had to hand him a tissue a little while ago.
No.
Yeah.
He was a little red. But TJ Smith in studio also.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be teary-eyed.
I think the show is pretty good with three of us in here, but
Yeah?
part of him hates it.
Oh yeah, he's not. I don't feel like he's. I feel like his whole childhood he was probably getting stuffed in the lockers, but he still never coped with it.
Oh, maybe that's a good point.
Do y'all really legitimately think that I take it that bad?
Yeah,
No, Scotty.
No, Scotty, not at all.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Very, very. You're so strong, Scotty.
Thanks, man.
So
I
strong.
appreciate
Strong and beautiful.
So strong. Just it was so impressive how you finished that enduro like a man. Didn't just leave with your sore hands from his fingers weren't sore from working the clutch. That lever pull, it's so tough.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
Hey, do you got something important to say, or
Not really. That's why I'm making fun of you. I don't have much to talk about in the first 30 minutes before we get to Nate Thrasher, so figured we'd bash on Scotty for a little bit.
yeah? All right, go ahead. Give me your best.
All right.
It makes for a fun Boyesen Open discussion just to talk some smack. Speaking of the Boyesen Racing Open discussion, Boyesen's Factory Racing's Rider Support Program is a comprehensive support system for motocross and off-road riders. The program offers participants exclusive access to Boyesen's products, yearly discounts, and the potential to become one of their new product development test riders. Join the community of Boyesen Factory Flyers by visiting boyesen.com today. So, if you guys like Boyesen products, go sign up. How could you not like their products? You may get a chance to get some free products or some discounted products or test them and help them develop something. Seems pretty cool.
How long has Boyesen been in the industry, too? That's kind of amazing. I mean, for them
Forever?
to still be around.
Yeah, I think they started around the time Jesus passed away.
I mean, before FMF, and they were making two-stroke products back in the day before.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's kind of awesome. It's
and
a
they're
legacy
also
company.
a sponsor of the Bike of the Day on Vital MX, which it doesn't really have any connection with the MotoXpod show exactly, but I picked the Bike of the Day Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you guys follow Vital and want to post your photos of your favorite bikes on the Vital MX Bike Checks page, I may pick you as a Boyesen Bike of the Day. That's kind of cool. Get a little spotlight on the website, on the homepage.
So whatever days you don't pick it, when I need to post mine.
No, we only pick them on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and I just go through and
And
look.
you're the only one that picks them?
Yes,
So mine will never get picked.
Probably not. I would pick Scotty's if he had a bike that ran.
I can send you a picture of parts of it.
Let's make that the Bike of the Day. Can you send those photos? We'll do that for Friday.
Yes.
That would be perfect.
Do you need to send the pictures of my just framed out bike in the garage?
I just want Scotty's bike in parts. That'd be perfect.
It's in 2 garages right now.
Well, 3, technically.
Yeah, it's 3. Wow, it's all over the continental U.S.
Oh, I'm tangled up here. So we got a few things to get to. It's going to be fun. Since there was no racing, I asked you guys to pick a couple riders, not the top 3 or 4 guys, not the Jet Lawrences and the Eli Tomacs, that you're kind of excited about watching how they develop this year and how their season goes and why. So does anybody want to start?
I can.
Yep. Let's go, TJ. Who you got?
So,
just give me one and we'll.
Yep. Volan. I'm sorry.
I'm interrupting, and for you guys listening to this segment, MotoXpod@gmail.com. Send us your emails, and we got some good emails to go through this week. But let us know who a couple guys are that you're interested in watching and why too, and maybe we'll read them next. Well, the next time we do a show, we're gonna take a few weeks off. Anyway, go ahead, TJ.
Volan. I really think Volan is gonna have
Maximus.
Yeah, he's gonna have a really how do I say this? A spotlight on him. Because he's struggled a lot the last few years, off and on. Some of it was maybe the bike. Some of it was him, you know what I mean, being young.
Who farted?
It was Scotty.
It wasn't me. Whoever smelt it, dealt it.
I don't smell nothing.
I don't smell anything. It must be your upper lip.
Maybe it's me.
So you mean
maybe it's the mixture of Febreze and cigarette smoke.
That's true. So anyhow, I think Volan will be somebody to really keep an eye on and watch. And I'm really actually excited to see what he can do with it, because a lot of guys get on that PC bike, and the way that Mitch runs his program, some guys really excel from that. So,
what do you you're excited to see him? Do you have expectations? Do you kind of have an idea? Do you think he'll get his first win?
I said it before. I 100% believe he'll be on the podium.
Okay.
I think things will have to work out right for him to get a win. I mean, it's the West Coast, so I'm sure he'll be on the West Coast. I haven't heard anything official. I'm sure Mitch hasn't dropped that just yet, but he's from out there. He lives out there. He wants to be out there. So he could definitely get a win in outdoors for sure, and possibly Supercross.
Thoughts on Maximus Volan?
Yeah. Do you think the he kind of touched on it a little bit. Do you think the PC ride is that the move that really makes the difference for him?
I think it's going to make a bit of a difference. One, because it's a fresh start, and at KTM, there wasn't a lot of focus on Max. Roger kind of ignored him a lot of times. Roger's pretty well known for not paying much attention to the 250 guys unless they're winning, probably. And he wasn't getting a lot of attention. And I think he'll have even though there's a lot of riders on PC, I think he'll get more attention anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
And having it change like that usually does riders a bit of good. So I think for those reasons, not necessarily because the bike is so much better. I don't know how he feels about the bike.
I do know.
But because, what's that? Well,
I do know he loves the bike.
Yeah, I've heard that he loves it, but I don't know that. I guess you may know. I haven't talked to him. Is it so much better for him?
It's so much better. He loves it.
Okay.
So, because him and Doc are buddies.
Yeah.
And I don't have any inside knowledge, but I know Doc has told me that he is really, really happy with the bike. Like, seriously. Like,
I just didn't know if it was like so much. Like, he's just happy with it, or, oh, wow, it's night and day better for him than the KTM.
I think it's night and day better for him than the KTM was, because I don't think he ever actually trusts the KTM. Like, the Cowies are so much more of a, I guess you'd call it like a solid platform. The bike's, like, you rode a Cowie. How often did that bike just, like, jump up and bite you?
Yeah, never.
Exactly. And so
but the Husky didn't either. So actually, I like the Husky better.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
but I'm just saying, like, that generation of that 250 and the factory bike that they were on, I don't think he was ever. I don't think him and other people were ever comfortable. Look at Cooper. Like, those guys never could get comfortable with it.
Did you have more to say?
Yeah. Would you say that technically you really only should kind of judge Max on the 2023 season because he kind of jumped into the ranks so early?
Well, and he had a bunch of injuries too, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, he literally went from like the 125 schoolboy class to A1. Like,
yeah.
And so I think that, we've always had these expectations of him, and we've always rooted for him to do good, but I don't think his really only fair assessment of him is the last is the last year or so, and I think he was getting better. So maybe that jump to PC, he's comfortable with the bike. It's a more predominantly 250 team that he's on, so they're focused on just that. That's a good pick. I think that I'd like to see what he does too.
Yeah, I definitely don't count his first 2 years as far as how I judge him, because of, I think round 2 or 3 or 4, maybe year 1, he got hurt. Might have been Houston or one of the Houston rounds in 20 or 21, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt again the year after that. So, yeah, I can't even count those years, really. So, yeah, I'm going to base everything off last year, but I just think he's going to be a lot better. I know the Insta-bangers and all that stuff don't mean much, but the kid looks like he's just flowing, and he has so much technical skill, that BMX style, because he grew up riding BMX. And at the Kawasaki test track, he was the first one that jumped that quad that we've been seeing everybody on Instagram jumping, and even Adam Cianciarulo said, yeah, he hucked it before I did. And he's just, but he looks like he's just flowing and very comfortable. So I have high expectations. Yeah, good pick. You want to give yours?
Are we staying with the 250s?
It doesn't matter. It could be, they could both be 250, but it's random.
Okay. Well, one of my ones for the 450 class is going to be, is we kind of talked about a lot last show too, is Hunter Lawrence. I think that he's going to really be better than a lot of people think that he is.
See, I think people already think he's going to be good. So I don't think he's got top 3 or 4.
That's why I kind of chose him.
Yeah, it's fine within the parameters of what I asked for. But yeah, I expect him to be really good, especially after just watching him at Paris. He looked good.
You think it'll be a consistent good? Like, do you think?
Yeah.
When you say good, do you think he will always be in the top 5, or do you think that he'll have some?
Unless something happens,
like
I don't see. Like, let's ask it like this: How often do you see him losing to AP? Mookie, Anderson, even Roxon, Cooper Webb, he already's beat Cooper.
Yeah.
That pairs, like, how often do you really see him losing to those guys consistently?
Well, so that's okay. So I would say consistently top 7.
Yeah.
Because I see consistently he's going to get beat by Cooper Webb. Once we get into the real Supercross season, Cooper Webb will be fine.
Yeah.
He's going to be Cooper Webb. He almost won the championship.
So he gets beat by Jet, Eli, Cooper,
Kenny.
You think Kenny be consistently in front of him?
Yeah, and I still feel like there's one we're missing.
I'm sure there is.
Anderson?
Huh?
Anderson's
a guy that I think will be about the same level.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Malcolm, I think, will beat Jet or Hunter sometimes.
I'm kind of changing the subject a little bit, but it's kind of interesting how this year is turning out. We've had the last, for as long as I can remember, it's been it's the stat class, anybody can win. I don't look at it as that anybody can win. I look at it as it's like that battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 6th is going to be where the race is at, I think.
Yeah.
So you think we go back to a time when we had Carmichael and Stewart,
Like the class favorites, like what Chase, Jet, and
Chase is the one. Yeah, we didn't mention Chase.
Yeah,
Chase. So that's the other one.
Chase,
that's what we're missing. Sorry,
Chase, Jet, and I think Eli are going to be on another level than what those other guys are. I mean, they kind of proven that over the last couple of years. So I think that's going to be a category of battle, and then that 3rd to 7th is going to be pretty crazy too. Barsha. I mean, do you see?
Yep, that's another guy.
That's the guy on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be, and then that's who.
I think Hunter's a good one. I think it's going to be exciting. Just the parameters of what I asked for. It's going to be exciting to see what he does. I think he's going to be really good. And the whole topic of bringing these guys up isn't about are they going to win. It's just who you're excited to see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am excited to see what Hunter's going to do. And I would say consistently a top 7, probably a couple podium. Maybe I'll go 1 podium. Probably.
See, last week when I had my hot take that he has more podiums than those other guys, y'all said that wasn't really that hot, but that he's going to have more than 1 podium to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got a good point.
We're probably just trying to talk shit on you. I don't know. Yeah, we're not super consistent here.
No.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
I like
forbid
that.
I bring up a good point.
Right. Okay, so my first one's going to be Malcolm Stewart.
Oh, it was going to be one of
You're
mine,
excited to see Malcolm?
I am. Crowd favorite. Very exciting to watch, but go ahead. I know. I guess
it's
you
his
can.
take.
No. My question on your take is are you excited to see what he can do, or just excited to watch him ride? Because I don't.
Both.
Because I think he's going to be good. No, like I'm not like, oh my gosh, is he going to be good? He is. You know what I mean?
I think he will. I was about to say surprise people, but if you look back to what he did last year,
That's what I mean.
Raced 2 rounds, led A1 for a while, crashed. I think he was taken out. Was it Freeze?
God, I can't believe
Somebody
Freeze
went
is
down.
back. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
there was a.
Is he in the 250 class?
Oh,
No, he's 450. But he led A1. He was fastest qualifier at round 2, which was San Diego. Yeah, because Oakland got rained out. He crashed in both, and then he got hurt during the week. So he was a guy that looked like he could win. He definitely had winning speed. He's been trying to stay healthy. Obviously, he did his knee in, but we talked about how he wasn't the Mookie speed in the whoops wasn't as fast as years previous because I think he's backed down enough to try to be safer. So I expect him to be consistent, but he's definitely consistently fast enough to win.
Yeah.
I know he hasn't got a win yet, but I think there's one coming. I'm not going to say he's going to win, but I think he's going to be real. I'm excited to see if he can win or does win, and I just think he's an exciting rider. When he's on,
I'm with you.
He's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, he was on my list too.
Yeah. And then he's just his personality. I just love his personality, so I'm excited to have him back.
Let me ask you it like this: who has a higher percentage of winning a race, Mookie, Barsha, or Hunter Lawrence?
Hunter.
You think Hunter has a better chance to winning?
It's really tough to say.
Yeah, that's why
Hunter's never officially even raced at 450 Supercross. So I probably answered too quickly.
Yeah.
Barsha has won some. Hell, he won.
He won.
What, 3 years in a row?
He won a race last year too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 4
I don't
years?
think he won one last year.
Wasn't it 4 years?
I think we only had 5 winners last year, and I don't think Barsha was one of them.
Didn't he win 4 years?
Almost.
Was it 4 years in a row?
Well, the 1 year that they went to A1 and they just videoed.
Oh God. So
he was winning that race against Roxon, right? And then
I'm gonna say I'm changing my answer from Hunter to Barsha.
Yeah. Well, that's what bring me to my next person.
We got to move along a little bit, but
bring me to my next person was Barsha, and the reason why is because Barsha's getting closer to the end of his career, whether it's going to be 2 years,
that's
3
another
years.
Thing to take into, yeah.
And I'm excited to see that because in a way, those vet guys that are always towards the end, whether it would be Wyndham or like back in the day, I've always kind of been a fan of the vet riders on their way out.
Right. We're sort of getting off topic though of our.
No, this was on my list.
Did you pick Barsha as your guy? As your next?
As one of
because he said something about Barsha, and then I thought we were just still.
No, I'm moving.
So he's your other guy.
My other guy is Barsha.
Okay,
because
good.
He's like the JB10, the Wyndham, the Larocos. Towards the end, I think Barsha is that guy, and they're having fun racing, and I'm excited to see what he can do when he's having fun, when there's not a crap ton of pressure on him. I'm just Barsha fan.
He won East Rutherford
last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's hard to go. Okay. I don't think he gets a win this year, though.
I don't think he gets a win.
But I think the percentage or the odds of those three, I'll go with him.
But what you said was a person you're excited to see?
Yeah.
Barsha.
Yeah, he had a good run at the end of last year.
Okay.
Who's your next one?
Oh, my next.
Yeah, we gotta get moving on.
My next one is I guess I was gonna say one of our guests on the show tonight, Nate Thrasher, but he's kind of considered top 3, I think.
Well, we didn't pick him when we were the week that TJ wasn't here, and we were talking about who our favorites were. We did not pick Nate Thrasher. That's why he's on the show, is because one of our listeners called us out for forgetting about him, and I did for sure.
Yeah.
So okay, well then
I don't disagree with you. I do think he's a title favorite.
Yeah.
For some reason, we forgot about him though.
It's hard to do the 250s because you could say it's a title favorite, but if all the top
he won like 3 races last year.
But like if the top 10 guys show up and they all happen to ride East or West Coast,
yeah, the coast thing is just really
throws it off. Yep.
Oh, then I'll say this. I think I'm gonna go with Hymas, Chance Hymas. I think
you're excited about him.
Yeah, I think that this will be his kind of full real first year.
Yeah,
I'd be excited to see what he can do. Yeah.
Race Tech. For nearly 40 years, Race Tech has been supplying the industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. From modern to vintage, Race Tech is your go-to source for suspension performance. Race Tech Gold Valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Race Tech products are 100% guaranteed to be made in the USA. So go to racetech.com, find your local service center, get to know your service tech. He's probably at the local track with you. Get your service stuff, your suspension serviced.
And you probably paid attention during the class.
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
Okay, moving on. Race Tech.
Now he's getting. You got those tissues ready over there? You gonna start crying?
What was I gonna? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Go ahead. We're moving on.
All right. So my next guy is gonna be Enzo Lopes.
Yeah.
Enzo's transferring from Club MX to Star Racing. Let's see here. Last year, 4th in Denver, 5th in East Rutherford, 5th at Glendale, 4th in Seattle.
That's exactly what you're going to get
No
this
podiums.
year. That's exactly what you're going to get
But he's gotten
this year.
better every year. He's gotten a little better every year. I'm not saying I expect him to be better, but I think the potential to be better and get better finishes on what I think most would consider a better bike, a better training program. We're going to see a little bit of a step up from Enzo.
It all depends on, like we said earlier, the coast-wise. Yeah. But if you have guys like Deegan, he's racing against guys coming into the class that are getting better, I don't know.
That class is, hell, just that team is stacked. But I'm excited to see what he can do. Another guy like Malcolm, who I think is just a great personality, fun guy to be around, fun to watch. And
yes.
I would love to see him get his first podium. I think he gets one. A podium.
A podium, yes. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Thoughts on Enzo or?
Yeah, well, actually, it kind of made me think of a question. Who do you think has a better year, Enzo or Anstie? Is Anstie doing the 250 thing again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Anstie probably.
You think he has?
Probably, but yeah. I think Anstie gets more than one win.
Do you feel like his position in the title chase last year was kind of just happenstance? He just happened to be the guy that was consistent, or do you feel like he really was one of the...
Anstie?
Yeah.
No, I think I think he's improved quite a bit, and he's getting better every year. And then he did these off-season races and won. So yeah, I think he can win. And I think he will win.
I'm gonna add him to my list of people I'm excited to see if they can do it again.
Okay. All right. So we got about 9 minutes before we get to Thrasher. Another thing I want to bring up, non-moto related. Hope you guys don't.
Are we doing this now?
Well, we don't know. Let's finish.
It's probably not what you're talking about.
God, he's so rude.
Oh yeah, not the football.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I asked you guys what some non-moto podcasts you listen to. Most everybody listens to moto podcasts, obviously, if they're listening to the show. But what are some non-moto ones? And we're not going to have time to get into everybody's right now, but let's start with you, TJ, and maybe we'll finish this up at the end of the show.
I think my top 3 would be Truth and Justice, Bad Friends, and just recently really got into Modern Wisdom.
Okay. Give me a little rundown of what you like about
Truth and Justice, because they work really hard to free people who have been wrongfully convicted, and they actually do it. They actually have gotten people out because of some of the stuff they have uncovered, and they use their listeners to help move. Listeners can help get information, and it's a really cool podcast. Bad Friends, because it's an absolute complete waste of time and nothing but laughing for an hour and a half, and they're not political. They don't worry about you can listen to a year-old podcast and it's just as relevant and funny as now. And then Modern Wisdom, the guy's from Europe and he's living in Austin, and has some amazing guests, people you would never think to have on, like a CEO of a company that you would never think of, and just does such a good job of not making the podcast and the interview about him, making it about the person and asking the right questions.
Cool. MotoXpod show at gmail.com. Let's get your list of favorite non-moto pods. Another thing that we can talk about, some more involvement from you guys. We might have a new segment here in a little bit that I also want to get you guys involved with, so we'll get to that. Scotty, you said you don't really listen to very many.
Well,
okay. Go ahead. You said that you don't listen to very many non-moto pods, but you do listen to watch some stuff on YouTube. So what? I figured I'd count that.
Not just YouTube, mostly TV and stuff. But
So we're not listening. All right. Okay, it's fine. It's okay.
There, I have to
change things for you. You're
I catch a lot of I see a lot of clips on Instagram. I scroll on Instagram a lot, and so I see a lot of 60-second clips where I probably couldn't even tell you the name of the podcast. I see them kind of frequently, so I kind of get mine. If it's something interesting and it shows up on my feed, then all right. So
give me an example of something that you would find interesting. Then,
the ones when they start, where they kind of start. It gets kind of political, I guess, but where they start talking about exposing how younger generations how poorly they think, and how exposing people for being
a lot of
trash and stuff.
On.
Yeah,
he likes exposure.
Yeah, but just stuff when it's when they call out, or a ranking. I see a lot of ranking stuff
of just anything in general.
Yeah, they'll rank like random stuff, or I don't know. I'm all over the map, dude.
Yeah, TJ, do you feel like he said with the younger generation? Do you feel like he is the younger generation?
I don't even know what he's saying.
Yeah, it's just things that are 5 seconds long. It doesn't matter what it's about as long as it's quick.
Catches my attention.
You
60 seconds. No, I don't have TikTok. Just Instagram.
See, and based on what you just said, I feel like TikTok.
You need to stay away from it. You'd be
locked in.
Yeah, stay away from it. It's bad for you, bro.
No, I don't like that stuff.
Well,
but you just said you did.
Isn't like from what I've heard is that the user agreement on TikTok is like horrendous.
I don't know what that means. All I know is it's going to show you about
you don't know what a user agreement is?
Well, I've never like read it or whatever. I'm just saying I'm saying is when you open your TikTok, your algorithm is going to be 6-second clips of things you find interesting.
I never said 6 seconds.
You just said quick.
Yeah, but 6 seconds? No,
I was exaggerating.
Yeah, but I keep up with a lot of football stuff. Like I listen to the radio in the car. I don't really like plug in my phone and listen to a podcast. I listen to like whatever, like the radio stations, whatever sports guys like Dan Patrick or Colin Cowherd or stuff like that. I listen to. So I guess I'm old in a way too. So I'm like young because I'm listening to Instagram stuff where it's quick stuff, and then I'm old because I listen to actual radio too. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got
shit
a few.
On that.
What?
Go ahead and shit on that.
I'm just gonna move along. Moving along. I like Armchair Expert. That's probably my favorite podcast. Was Dax Shepard's podcast with.
Oh, shocker.
Yeah, most people know that. I've been listening to that for like 6 years. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Whatever, TJ. That's probably my favorite. Then I listen to Office Ladies because I'm a big fan of The Office. That's Angela Kinsley, who played Angela, and
that would just annoy me.
Why?
Just all about it's just all they talk about is The Office.
In general, they go every week is a new episode. Each episode. They kind of talk about this is what was happening behind the scenes, and this is how the script was. This was what was.
That would be pretty. Cool.
Yeah, it's like this was what was in the script, but this was what they. What do you call it? When they
ad lib.
But there's another term.
Improv.
This was improv. So they kind of give you a breakdown. They're like, and if you look in the background. So and so was breaking right here. They're starting to laugh. That or it's just kind of a little behind the scenes things. And
that sounds cool. I used to like watching movies with the commentary on.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. They just break it down week by week, every episode, and then they'll have.
Sounds a little more interesting than what it did when you first said it.
Yeah, I enjoy it because I'm such a fan of The Office, and I'll listen to it, and then I'll go watch that episode and try to catch the things they talked about.
That's cool.
Yeah, I see that. So that's one I like. Pete and Sebastian show is another one I like. Pete Corielli is a comedian, kind of grew up with Jim Brewer, and then Sebastian Maniscalco is kind of a big time comedian. They do a show every week that's about an hour and a half, and it's just pretty much just them talking about like things that happened to him on a plane or happened, and they just kind of talk about and whatever's going on in life. And
that's like Bad Friends. Yeah,
I need to check that one out. You keep talking about it. I bet I'd like it.
It's so retarded that it's funny.
Should we bleep that or just leave it?
Yeah. Oh crap! I forgot about that. Dang it.
I did.
You got to be woke.
I haven't followed it much lately.
Please, somebody cancel me. That'd be awesome.
I haven't really followed it too much lately, but I used to watch a couple podcasts that Theo Vaughn was on. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
I see him, and then like
Is that to do with the mullet?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So I followed that stuff, and I've seen like what's it? Santini, Andrew Santini, the redheaded guy. He does one with Bobby Lee.
That's Bad Friends.
Oh, that's Bad Friends. So, see,
there you go.
I see a lot of the clips, and I think it's funny on.
You should listen to the whole thing.
Yeah,
I never go back and listen to the whole thing.
I also listen to like the Eddie Trunk show, which is a music one.
Yeah, Eddie Trunk's he was that metal show, right?
Yes. So he has his own show on satellite on Sirius, and then he breaks some of the interviews down in the podcast.
I'm going to write some of these down.
Yeah, and then Talk is Jericho, which is Chris Jericho's pod. Like he'll do a lot of music ones, but then he'll do wrestling ones. I don't listen to those. I just listen to the music ones usually.
Yeah.
The Mechanic?
No, that's
that metal show.
That's his nickname, and his nickname is because he's such a Jericho fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think he actually has a Chris Jericho tattoo because he's a super like WWE fan. But the real Chris Jericho, who also has a band, a metal band, does like he'll do like
No, I get it. I just was like I thought you were talking about.
Like the ones I like, he'll do like an album comparison. It'd be like Metallica's Ride the Lightning versus Metallica's Kill 'Em All, and they'll go song by song, like track one of which one do you like better and why, and they'll go to track two, and they say, okay, what's the better album? And different musicians from different bands will come in and do that with them, and like this is why I love this song, and they break it down usually musically, or whatever. So I enjoy that stuff. So those are probably the ones that are my favorites. I am going to start listening to the New Heights Kelsey Brothers one. I've seen clips on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm like, it's really funny. I especially want to listen to it after my 49ers beat the shit out of the Eagles to see what his response was. And then next week when they beat the shit out of the Cowboys, it'd be even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
All right, I got to get Nate on. What have you been up to today? You going to ride this weekend?
Sounds like I'm going to be riding this weekend. Possibly Swans having their final open practice.
Did you just say
year.
Swans is plural?
Swans, like Swan, like
Swan is having.
Swans
having. Going to. Okay,
yeah.
I'm with you. All right,
yeah.
Because people around here do say, I'm going to Swans.
Yeah.
I'm going to Walmart's.
Well,
I'm going to Shreveport.
Nobody says Walmart's.
No,
yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely, they do.
Going down to
Walmart's in Shreveport.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to Swan to possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you want him to say? I'm going to Swan MX Raceway Park.
And then, exactly. And then I'm gonna ride pit bikes at the house.
What did I see? You got some new land and you built a little truck for the e-bike?
I bought 5 acres from my neighbor.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
So
it's a new place to ride.
Well,
it's some jumps.
It's a rut track.
Oh, that's cool.
You need that.
All right, WUSA brings us our first guest. W is your source for all things wheels. If you're looking for a complete set of wheels for your bike, we have something for every budget. If you want to use the same wheels used by Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Malcolm Stewart, Christian Craig, Chad Reed, and Jeremy McGrath, just to name a few, we have what you need. Visit WUSA. Use the promo code MotoXpod Show to save tonight. WUSA brings us from Star Racing Yamaha, Nate Thrasher. What's up, Nate?
Hey, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How you feeling? How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Just getting ready to go here soon.
How close are we to 100% ready?
We're pretty close. I've been riding for about a month now on Supercross. So first couple weeks I was a little rusty, but yeah, I'm back up to full speed now. So yeah, we're feeling good. The bike's good. A lot of new changes to it, so which is fun. And we're just still learning, but I think we'll be ready to go.
What will be the determining factor when you say I'm 100%, or are you ever actually 100%?
Yeah, I mean, my body feels like it's 100%,
right.
Just back on the bike, I feel like I'm going just as good as I have before, or maybe even better right now. I'm feeling good. So, yeah, I think I'm ready to go whenever they tell me I'm racing.
I like it. Yeah, you guys don't know that yet. For some reason, they just can't tell us what coast you're going to be on. We just have to accept that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, you said there's been some changes with the bike and some different things going on. Give me some examples. What are a couple things that have been changed that you like?
Yeah, the motor's still the same from last year, which is a good thing. So that's good. And then just chassis-wise, I think just new bike, new chassis, just kind of a little bit different feel. Just kind of trying to balance it, get the height the way I want it and stuff like that. But I think we're getting it a little bit better in the whoops. Kind of struggled last year when the whoops got slick a little bit with the rear end. But I think we're getting a little bit better now. So that's kind of what we've been working on through the off season, trying to get a little better at.
Okay.
So you talk about when you're ready, and a lot of people talk about who's going to what coast. I know you can't tell us. I'm not asking that.
He probably doesn't even know.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Like, is it something that y'all kind of know, but you're not for sure? Or is it we don't know at all? Or are you just pulling all of our chains and and you just don't want to tell nobody? What's going on here?
Yeah, in years past, I've had no clue, but this year I kind of know which one I'm looking at so far,
Cool.
But you just never know. We're just trying to see who's it depends a lot on who's ready to go and who's not and stuff like that too.
I have one follow-up to that. Do you think that, I'm not saying you would do this, but you have a huge team over there. You have like 27 teammates over there.
Yeah.
Do you have any guys that are like kind of sandbagging how they're riding just so they can ride West or
I think
East
my knee
Coast?
hurts.
Yeah,
my knee hurts a little bit, Bobby.
I got this problem in my back.
Turf toe.
Yeah, they may be. I don't know. You never know. It's I'm not in their head, so it's hard to say. But yeah,
you can't trust a couple of those guys. That Jordan Smith, he's a troublemaker. You can't really trust him.
yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah, I hear you.
Are they in that scenario? Are they doing like time trials or races with you guys where you're kind of battling for those specific spots and they're evaluating off of that, or is it just kind of who's ready at what time?
It's kind of just who's ready at what time. I mean, there's always like in practice, there's kind of the top guys, you know what I mean, and then there's ones that are a little bit under that. And then speed wise, just day in and day out, fitness wise and stuff like that too. So they're just kind of wanting to, they're obviously wanting to have two guys on each side, you know what I mean? Like a guy that can win on each side. So they're wanting to put the best guys separate, I guess.
Yeah.
Are y'all doing anything where like y'all put, those other guys in front of y'all and y'all are trying to like catch them and do like kind of like
intervals?
Yeah,
like
intervals,
chase
chase the rabbit kind of thing. Y'all do anything like that?
Yeah, we do all sorts of things. We do that sometimes. We do just normal, fastest to slowest, slowest to fastest. Just depends on what the Swanee's got on the setup for that day.
What's your favorite?
My favorite's not having to pass anybody, but
so you like being
not getting dirty, but
you like being chased, not chasing.
Yeah, for sure. I like chasing in a race, but
right.
in practice, I would rather the other way around.
So, Nate, I'm going to be honest with you. About 3 weeks ago, it was just me and Scotty in studio, and I was like, who do you feel like are the 250 favorites? And we got called out by one of our listeners because neither one of us mentioned you. Like, you just slipped my mind. And the guy was like, yeah, how quickly you forget. And he's right. You got a win last year, a couple seconds, finished 7th overall, but like you were really riding very, very well before you broke your collarbone and dislocated your hip and all that fun stuff. And I did. Yeah. I just kind of forgot about you, man. Do you feel like that happens a lot? If it does it motivate you, or do you even care?
It definitely happens a lot. I feel throughout my career, I've kind of been a little slept on more than others, but that just motivates me and just trying to be better. I'm not like a big guy on social media and all that stuff. So it kind of goes under the radar, but yeah, I just let the riding do the talking, and last year was good, but we got to clean up some mistakes and some, try to be in the championship. We were in it for a little bit, but Hunter just kind of pulled away there, and then I ended up getting hurt, which was a bummer, but yeah, how it goes. And
I will say, I do feel like you're a championship contender. It was disrespectful of me to forget you, but I did, man. And it's just, I suck.
Yeah, that's no problem. So,
I know you don't really care, but when the guy called me out, I was like, damn it, he's right.
Yeah. We'll see what come race on.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had a similar question to kind of that when I was thinking about the interview tonight. Are you showing up day to day at the test track and you're like, in your head is I'm a contender, I'm that guy? Is that how you're viewing yourself going into this season?
Yeah, 100%. Last year, literally, I'm like, my main competition's not in the class anymore, There's always going to be guys that step up, but, I pretty much got second to him every race. I beat him one race, but every race, if I didn't crash, you know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely, that's the plan this year. I'm just going to take it one race at a time and put my best effort out there. And if I win, I win. And if I don't, I don't. Just give it 100% every night.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of off-topic question. When you're out there training, this year we have a lot of the Supercross futures being pushed, kids being pushed that direction to get ready for Supercross. I'm sure that some of those amateur guys are training and riding with you. Who's somebody that we should look out for this year as we're seeing the A and the B kids coming into Supercross futures and getting ready for Loretta's?
We got Gavin Towers on the team, so that's somebody to look out for. And not quite sure on anybody else on any other teams, but he should be a handful.
Okay, so he is training with y'all?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Gavin's a good kid. We know him. So
yeah, we like GT. So Nate, this is your 4th year going to Supercross season, and I've heard a few different people kind of say, the vets say it really takes about 3 years to really figure it out. I know the teams and the team owners don't want to give you 3 years, but do you kind of feel like after last year, season 3, that you have learned a lot and that it's a totally different ballgame now? Has it been a gradual transition or pretty significant in the last couple of years?
It's been, I would say, just ever since I was little, just trying to I just get better every year. You know what I mean? Just get a little bit better every year. And that's kind of how I've been throughout. The first year I did get 2 wins, but outside of that, I was kind of a little bit lackluster besides that at Atlanta there.
Yep.
But and then I ended 2022 really good with the win in Salt Lake. But I had some good speed that year, but just couldn't put it all together throughout all the main events. Had some podiums I threw away and stuff like that. And then last year I was consistently a podium guy, battling for wins every weekend. And really not getting outside of the podium when I wasn't on the ground. So yeah, I feel like every year just gotten a little bit better, and then just, and I know I belong up there, and then just everything that goes into it speed wise, I'm a lot better now, just qualifying in first, second, third, every race, and just stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like this year it'll be another step in the right direction for me, and just keep learning, and that's all we can do.
You mentioned throwing a few away, and that, every rider does that. How do you I can't even say it.
Compartmentalize?
Yeah, that word. How do you compartmentalize? I can't say the fucking word. Anyway, how do you analyze that and make sure it doesn't happen again? And no matter what the case is, when you throw it away, are you able to kind of figure that out, process it, and say, okay, this is not going to happen again. I know what I did here, and then build from that?
Yeah, for sure. Like last year, the first round, I ended up crashing and should have just kind of laid back. I got a bad start and just was in 9th or 10th the first lap and passed up to 4th or something. And then I ended up going down, and that's when I tore my ACL. But I finished the night, but it was kind of just, rotted in from there. But then after that, and I was pretty good up until Daytona. And then I got cleaned out in the sand there on the first lap. And then I just need to regroup better. Ended up going down again after that, just trying to override, just to come back. I was kind of frustrated. That was really the only 2 races that kind of was a hindrance last year. I just need to kind of get over when I crash like that, or somebody takes me out, or something doesn't go my way. I just kind of need to reset mentally and be better at that, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of maturity too. And that's just happens when you guys go pro so young.
Yeah, exactly. And then in that scenario, the points were getting closer, and then, it was crunch time. So whoever could come out of that race had a lot of momentum. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So once I ended up going down, and that I just kind of blew up in the head, and I need to get that under control for next time.
Sure.
So one of our listeners, John Sheets, was asking if you're doing any riding on a 450 at all, and possibly doing stuff, I guess you'd say, on your off coast.
Yeah, that's not the plan as of now. I've done some when I was coming back from injury. I was riding 450 for quite a bit, just on outdoors. But not as of now. We're just focused on the 250 championship. Maybe next year.
Yeah, you get to ride a 450 a little bit so you get used to the power of y'all's 250.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the team, the last few years, Star's kind of been the dominant team and known as the best program to be on. What are some of the things that you've seen in this offseason that they've improved on or worked on to continue to be the best and are going to improve on going into this upcoming season?
Yeah, they always strive to be the best. I mean, I feel like just every little bit they do, they'll go be up and beyond and try stuff that some teams won't, and just try to give you everything you can. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're the worst guy on the team or the best guy. They're still going to try to give you everything, which is big thing for me, and I was one of the worst guys at one point, you know what I mean? So on the lowest on the totem pole, I should say. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the big thing. And when I was coming through, they still try to give me the best equipment, and sometimes team proprietary, the best guys on the team. So yeah, that's a big thing for me. And hopefully this year, we'll just get a little bit better. I think the bike's in a good spot. So there's not too much. There's a new chassis, obviously, so that'll be a little bit interesting once we get into the races. It's hard to say in practice, so
right.
We'll have to see come round one.
Is there anything specific that helped you, whether it was something in the bike or something in y'all's training program where kind of maybe one day you're like, oh wow, I was able to apply this instantly and now I'm better for it?
I wouldn't say just one thing really. I would say it's just probably the regimen. It's just on top of each other every single day. You're just putting the same work every single day. I would say that would be the biggest thing for me. Just the discipline of it.
So we also have a listener in the chat. I'm going to say this completely wrong, but it's Zafoid Beeblebrox.
Beezelbrop. Yep.
Yeah.
Remember, he had an email last week. I realized that is from not Guardians of the Galaxy. It's from a book.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
So anyways, he wants to know if you're going to grow a really big beard out this year.
I don't know. We'll have to see. I can't grow too big, but I can grow a little one, but it just stops growing for some reason.
Like no shave until you win one. You know what I'm talking about?
Hopefully we'll be fresh shaved after the first round.
Ernesto and Ricky did that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be fresh shaved after the first round. I'll start fresh shaved, and hopefully I can keep shaving it.
There you go.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's what it's from.
Okay.
Yeah, I recognized it after I said it last week. Nate, I want to go back to your injury for just a second that you had last year. Broken collarbone, pretty common in our sport. Not so sure dislocated hips are that common. That seems like a very difficult injury to come back from. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was honestly just in the moment. Like, it's just super painful, obviously. And then the whole, like, took a while to get it back in and all that stuff. So once I got it all back in and was out of surgery, I was like non-weight bearing for about 12 weeks. So yeah, that was probably the biggest issue. But once I got weight back on, it was just pretty much getting strength in it. And that's pretty much it. Like, it wasn't too bad. Good. I had ACL surgery at the same time to fix my ACL. So that was a little bit more of rehab and stuff like that. So the hip wasn't too bad compared to the ACL rehab wise.
Dude, I bet your girlfriend was miserable having to take care of you with all that crap going on.
Yeah, I had hip surgery, and then 2 weeks later I had knee surgery, and then the next day after my knee surgery I had shoulder surgery. So yeah, I had one limb that was working.
You better give her a nice reward or something. That's a lot of, moms do that when you're a kid, but then the girlfriends or wives have to take care of it. And as racers and men, we're kind of assholes when we're injured. So
yeah, it wasn't great. I was in a wheelchair for a while. So
I bet.
Hey, you were being on the couch for the end of how last year went and everything, and seeing how the SMX played out, just seeing the money that those guys made at the end of all that, do you factor that into your overall view of how you're approaching the season? Is the main goal to be there at the end for something like that, or is it just let's just get through Supercross?
I mean, yeah, the main goal is obviously to be healthy at the end of the year, right? But yeah, just right now I'm just focused on one race at a time, and we'll see where it goes. But obviously the goal is to win Supercross, motocross, and super motocross. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the main goal is now just one race at a time for me.
You got anything else, Scotty? I've got a few fun questions to ask him, but not.
I did have one. One I did want to ask is, you're in that point of your career where it's like it's all on the table. Let's really see what we got. And there's not much time for extra fun or outside activities and stuff. But is there anything that you're into outside of motocross that you've been able to put any time in this off season into?
Yeah, for sure. It's been kind of hard because just was hurt so much, and then you can't do too much when we're hurt like that. But I love to golf quite a bit, and big football fan. So yeah, and then I took up cycling pretty good there. So I was doing quite a bit of cycling races and stuff like that too.
Football fan. Okay, me and Dark hate each other because he's a Niners fan and I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Who's your team?
Yeah, where are you throwing in the mix?
I'm more of a college guy. I'm a Notre Dame guy.
Okay, Trojans here, but my team sucks this year.
Yeah, we killed them this year.
Yeah, USC started out 6th, and they're at the bottom of the barrel now. I think it's terrible, but my NFL teams are kicking it though. We're definitely having a big battle amongst ourselves before the show started between the Niners beating the Eagles, and I think the Eagles beat the Cowboys this weekend. He thinks not, so that's going to be a fun weekend for us.
That'll be a good one. Can't wait to see that one.
The argument between them was 20 minutes of my life. I'll never.
It was not 20 minutes.
TJ does not care about football at all.
2 minutes.
And then the golf thing. Let's do this. So a lot of riders, their hobbies seem to either be golf or gaming
or fishing.
Yeah, there's a few fishing. So do you game at all?
Yeah, I do game a little bit.
So if you had to pick one, what would you rather do?
Golf.
Probably golf. Yeah, I see that. I kind of used to crap on golf. I thought it was kind of lame, and I played in the fundraiser for MXDN a couple years ago. 2 years ago.
Loose term on played.
The year before last. Well, okay. I tried, but I had fun. Like I could see it's a lot of fun if you play with guys that want to play. Unfortunately, my whole team had never played before, so nobody really cared.
Yeah, exactly.
But even though I was terrible, I cared, and that made it not fun. I wanted to play.
Well, let me ask you this, Nate. Do you feel I like golf because I feel it takes some of that mental focus that is acquired for motocross, but it's not. You're not going to get landed on, or I mean, a golf ball might come at you, but yeah, you're not going to wad yourself up or anything like that. But it does take that mental focus. Do you feel it helps you in any way to kind of have something like that that's safe? I used air quotes. And be able to have that focus that you have to have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely some positives to it. You know, some people you can take them out of the golf course and see how they're going to handle pressure. When they got a big putt you got to make, or somebody like that, you got to hit a good shot. So yeah, you can definitely tell if somebody's can handle the pressure or they can't. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Trying to get a little better, but yeah, we're decent, but yeah, it's tough with our schedule and all that. I'd like to play more, but
everybody I know that plays golf is just chasing the beer cart.
That's how I started. And now I don't even like to drink on the course because it
take it too serious.
Yeah,
you gotta be locked in.
All right, let's have a few more fun questions here. This is a stupid one probably, but win a race. What's your best trick? Can you do knack, can, heel clicker? What do you got?
I do a sweet boner ear.
I ain't got much. Yeah, that's about all I got.
Just
I
a
can't
whip?
really whip. I can't even whip that good, really. So, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you might need to go to TP's place and use the foam pit and figure it out.
Yeah, I'm all just in the heart. No talent, really.
All right, join the club. None of us can whip either. All right, give me. Let's see here. I asked you. Well, let's do this one. I sent you the text. What two people, alive or dead, that you'd like to have a conversation with, and why?
I'm a big Tom Brady fan, so I'd probably say Brady. Like he's the GOAT. Who don't want to talk to him? Mm-hmm. And then the second one, I couldn't really come. I'd probably say Joe Montana.
Oh,
nice. Joe Montana.
Yeah, Notre Damer. Yeah, Joe Montana, Notre Damer. So yeah, probably him.
So being as those guys are both legends in football, sports athletes, do you have any questions you'd like to talk to them about? Like, do you have anything specific you'd like to ask?
Not really specific. Just kind of see how like Brady handled the pressure and all that, and he didn't come from, he wasn't super like nodded as the most talented guy ever. Yep. Just see what he did and see how he kept his body so dang good for so long.
Yeah,
really tried to do that to mine.
Both those guys really were not highly touted. Yeah. They were definitely coming out of college, were not expected to be the superstars they became.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so I'd kind of ask them how they got through that and how they worked. And obviously Brady was good for so long to see how he kept his body good so I could race longer and just stuff like that.
I like it. Scotty, anything else before we let him go?
If you're not pumped walking out of a conversation or hyped up after walking a conversation with Brady, then something ain't working right.
Something's wrong with you, yeah.
I respect Brady a lot, but I would definitely go Joe Montana first as an Niners fan.
Niners fan.
But Jerry Rice also.
So, yeah, Jerry Rice is a great one.
Yeah, TJ doesn't know who any of these people are, probably.
I do not know who these people are.
Really?
No, he doesn't.
Well, Scott, you have to know who Joe Montana is.
I guess I know the name.
Because of Joe Montana.
Because of those commercials he does.
He's like, you've had to have heard of Tom Brady.
I mean, I don't know. He's on the news, but I don't know what he does.
I know he was married to Giselle.
What team did Tom Brady play for?
Yeah, he was.
For like 20-something years.
I have no clue.
There's no way he's going to.
Oh, my God. That is so bad.
I wouldn't expect him to know. I feel like you know who Joe Montana played for. I know Joe Montana.
Like, for some reason, I'm thinking like with like the Dolphins. Is that right?
Well, I just spit everywhere. No, that would be Dan Marino you're probably thinking of.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know.
All right.
It started with an M. We got close.
Should we just mute his mic right now?
Yeah. Where's his button?
Yeah. Well, Nate, man, hey, appreciate you jumping on here with us for a little bit. The season is a month away, man. We're almost there. We don't know if you're racing in a month, but you got to be ready to. So, yeah, keep it up. Yep. We look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too. That's Nate Thrasher jumping on here, brought to you by WUSA tonight.
I got my wheel. I got my order from WUSA. Talked to Zane today. Well, actually, I talked to, what is John's wife's name?
Kristen.
Kristen, I talked to her today. Yeah.
Lucky you.
She just answered the phone. I didn't do anything special.
Oh, creepside.
Hey, man. If you
wait,
Kiefer's right. Go ahead.
So, what team did he play for?
Joe?
Yeah.
He was a 49er for most of his career, and then he played at Kansas City.
Yeah, he did play
at the end of his career.
I must be thinking
So
something
how
totally
the, like,
different.
Well, the Dolphins' famous quarterback was Dan Marino, same era as Joe Montana.
Okay.
I mean, how do you like Brady went to like 5 or 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots? Like, how do you not?
I don't even know who the Patriots are.
Yeah, how do you not? Like,
Oh,
to
that's the
see
ones
it-
from the like they're from the Midwest, right? The
No,
Patriots.
they're from New England, from Boston.
Northeast New England.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not even like stumble upon like a Super Bowl for like a second? Like, how is that even possible?
Well, I mean, I can watch football and I know the rules, so I can enjoy the game, but I don't know any of the teams.
That's insane. That really blew my mind that he couldn't.
It's almost like, you know who Michael Jordan played for?
Yes, the Bulls.
Okay.
It feels very similar to that. Like, you should know that almost as easily as
But
somebody.
I grew up playing basketball.
Yeah.
Well, not like at school, but
I just feel like most people that even don't follow sports still know who Michael Jordan
Michael
is. that he
Jordan
was a
has
Bull.
tennis shoes named after him.
Brady,
I mean,
Brady's-
I do feel like I would put Jordan above Brady on the
Famous.
importance level of
Yeah.
sports a little bit. But I don't think they're far off.
But I know a lot about Jordan. I've watched documentaries about him
Yeah.
and interviews and stuff like that.
There's been those about Brady too.
Hmm?
So there's been those about Tom
I
Brady too.
genuinely-
It's more recent.
But I
Yeah.
genuinely hate football.
Why do you hate football? What is it that you hate about it?
It's because people don't play it.
What do you mean?
So like basketball.
Because like I love football, but I don't play now, even though I played in
We can
school.
throw the
but we
football
can
in
go
the yard.
ride moto.
or you can go pick up a basketball and go play it.
Yeah.
And so to me, football like just makes me mad because there should be a flag football team on
There
every
are.
corner.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would say there are leagues and stuff.
I know
but
there's
yeah.
leagues, but I'm just
It's just
saying it's
not as easy to play.
everybody's into it, and what it boils down to is the people who are into it. 90% of them, not y'all, but I don't think this is y'all always, but 90% of the people who are into it, it's because high school was like the top of their life. Like the best they ever had was playing high school football, and they spend the rest of their life wishing and looking back at the best time of their life.
I think that's true for a lot of baseball and basketball, a lot of just high school sports for males, probably more than anything in general too, because a lot of again, what'd you say, 90%?
Yeah.
90% of high school athletes graduate. They never get a chance to play any sport again, really.
Yeah.
So I see where you're coming from, but I don't really understand why that makes you hate this game. That's really
more of a
it's really an
percentage.
interesting game. Like when you think about the strategy.
Yeah, it's like
and-
chess. It's like a chess match. If you know what's going on, it's very interesting.
It's not a bad sport, but it just doesn't make sense to me why it's so popular because it's super boring and most
I
of
don't
it
think it
is
is. To
most
me,
of it's commercials. Each play is like 3 seconds long, and then there's
It's like an
3
anticipation
minutes.
build.
I don't know. It's just not. I'm just not into
There's
it.
not a commercial after every play, though. I mean, it could be 15 minutes. Well,
I know. I'm being a
drive
little.
goes-
baseball's way more boring
Well,
than
baseball
football.
is super boring. I didn't say I like
hate
baseball.
okay, I hate watching baseball. I love playing baseball,
I love playing baseball,
but I hate watching it.
I never played.
But I
softball,
also
that sounds fun.
realize I've come to learn over the last couple of years because I have friends that are big baseball fans that there is a lot more strategy to baseball than I realized, like with pitch counts and all that.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
didn't
insane.
realize that that there's a lot of theory, like science behind it. I had no idea.
I care about them both equally.
I mean, that's with
none.
everything though. Like,
Yeah, I just didn't know that.
like
I legitimately didn't know that until just a few years ago.
like you could take something like curling, and like
That's fun to watch.
or even like a
it's funny to
cornhole
watch.
or
It's
cornhole
fun.
or something like that. And you're like, oh, they're just sliding things on ice, or they're just throwing things in a hole. But like, if you take anything to that level, there's so much strategy and precision and all these thoughts and chess moves behind it. It's crazy. I like football just because I grew up watching it and playing Madden and it's just kind of stuck to. It's just
I
kind of
don't
stuck.
even like the football games.
I used to like Madden, but I just I'm not coordinated enough anymore.
Yeah, it's just kind of
And
throwing
played
a
football.
football when I was a
Yeah,
kid in the
I
front yard. It just I don't know. It just kind of always stuck, and I've just
I love playing basketball. That's probably my favorite sport to play now.
my
But-
biggest thing too is I don't really follow politics. I just stay out of
No,
it.
I don't either.
And
I
so
don't know why we
football is a great way for me to have that current event that I like. That it's like there's always something to talk about. There's always a show to watch or all this, and I like it because it's my way to stay current.
Yeah.
Without having to get on some watch Fox News or whatever, you know.
Well, we're getting texts from our guy Cooley, like Football X Show. People are over
People are
it.
saying that in the
Sorry, guys.
We weren't talking about just football. It's off season, man. What do you want us to do?
I love football. I mean, you know what? I bet a lot of our listeners do like football.
I bet most of them do.
So
I have no
suck it.
I know most people like football, and it's just.
Let's work on getting Bubba Pauli on. Did you guys see Jay Coop? He's in Alpine Stars gear now. Anybody care about that? Justin Cooper?
Did not know this.
Anything you guys saw this week that stood out news-wise, social media-wise?
I watched a video today where I think it came out today where Ken Roxon and Carson Brown were racing each other lap times on a
85
an RM85.
Oh, I didn't get to see that. How was it good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It interluded to another episode that's going to come out where they're doing it on 125.
Is it a moto or was it like?
It was like a little sandy
pit bike track.
No, it was like a turn track kind of thing.
Yeah,
that'd be cool to see. I'll have to check that out because
Yeah,
Carson's
cool.
good on that. Our next guest of the night's on the line. He's brought to you by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew have been providing the best seats and foam in the industry for years. For 2023, they've added Kawasaki to their complete seat lineup, as well as the color teal to the gripper material options available. Also new for 2023 and going into 24 are options for your e-bikes. They have complete seats for the Talari and the Super 73 and covers for the Segway and Sur-Ron. And they have options for the Honda, KTM, and Husqvarna electric bikes. So visit Guts Racing today. Let Andy and the boys know that you're listening to the MotoXpod show. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us the owner of the Mad Parts Kawasaki team and a rider on that said team, Mr. Bubba Pauli. What's up, Bubba?
Oh, just getting some recovery in after a long day of training. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Yeah, you're deep into it this time of the season. How are you feeling? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. We're based in St. Louis, Missouri, so December the weather gets a little bit iffy. So I missed a few days of riding, but it was mid-50s today. The track was a little wet, but it should be good the next couple of days. So obviously we're closing in on race time. So kind of the boot camp style of training is wrapping up. So it's good, man. I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing where I'm at.
You do, and I've got a number of questions about the team and the riders and freaking Jericho and his messy ass, but we got to get into just an incredibly severe, disgusting, awful injury you had last year with severing your thumb. I don't understand how you're even riding, let alone riding professional supercross. Walk us through. I have so many questions about this. Just let's start with when it happened. All your Instagram posts seem so positive. Like within days of this happening, I want to know what your mental state was. Was that accurate? Were you really positive? Were you going insane when you weren't recording? Walk us through the first few days.
It's a bit of a roller coaster. I think most professional motocross racers, obviously we've been through so many different injuries and you kind of learn how to deal with it. You're just trying everything you can to be positive. But you don't, like in that situation, like we had no idea what the outcome was going to be. I didn't know if, I would be able to use my hand really at all, or what the situation was going to be. There was so much uncertainty. So obviously, you can pick to be negative on it or you can pick to be positive. So, it's just kind of where, going through injuries over the years, you just kind of wire yourself to try to look at things in the best positive way. And, it was definitely scary. I spent 8 days in the hospital there and the last 4 or 5 days I was there by myself. And it was just what was kind of going on. And I was definitely sick to my stomach a lot of times just dealing with that. But, I don't know. I guess it's just a motocross guy thing.
I see that, but that was such a different injury. It's not your collarbone or your, even your humerus or whatever, or femur. Those are awful. But I mean, dude, you got leeches, like literally leeches on your hand, and you're trying to figure out how they're going to you're talking about your nub and whether they're going to be able to save it or amputate it. And in the end, they did have to cut a section off, right? And then they kind of, what was the recovery process exactly, or the repair process?
Yeah, so immediately, Indianapolis Supercross, second qualifier session, I crashed and looked down and I see there's just a small crash. Ken Roxon actually had the identical crash in Paris. I posted it on my Instagram story. He washed the front end out right into a single coming out of a 90-degree corner.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happened to me. And obviously my hand was under the handlebar when it hit the ground, and, it was just the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time. Where, it pulled it off. It pulled the tendon out from up near my elbow, just straight through all the way out. And I look down, see blood and, bone. And I'm just like immediately put pressure on it and just kind of, survival instincts at that point. And so anyway, like the Alpine Star crew, I mean, they red flagged the practice, got me directly, I think it was Bodner was the one that was driving the mule, and he was, hey, get call for the hand specialist, like we need surgery right away. At that point I was just like, oh, this isn't good. Like they're calling the surgeon while I'm still on the stadium. Like that was and then luckily, they got me out immediately, directly in the hospital. Had a 7-hour surgery trying to reattach it that evening. I woke up the next day, really no idea what was going on. And I kind of explained, and I was in the ICU for 5 of the 8 days that I was there with leech therapy. So they were trying to get the blood flow to pull through there. And a lot of people asked, yes, they still do leech therapy. So it was every hour I was having a new leech put on my hand 24/7. And they slowed down the intervals, and I ended up losing a pulse in the end of my hand. So then they had to keep it back up on an hour. And first couple of days, I was still kind of medicated and stuff, so it wasn't too bad. But then after a while, it was just like every time I was doing anything, whether it was trying to sleep, eating, whatever, it's just, I got leeches literally like because my hand was elevated, like right in my face. So it was like, it was like, there was no not seeing it. And like, I would occasionally fall asleep and, I'd wake up and it'd be like, down in my bed, it'd come off, or it'd be in my hair at one point. I was just like, oh my gosh. So that, like I said, for a couple of days, it wasn't too bad. And then it was like, oh my gosh, this is bad. It's like, I almost had PTSD about it now. So, and then, so they sent me home with pins in my hand to follow up with the surgeon. At that point they were thinking like, hey, it's gonna be a successful replant, but it turned black like immediately after we stopped the leech therapy. So saw a specialist here in St. Louis, and he's like, we got to get that off like now. So had another surgery, and then they did an artery graft and some skin grafts and stuff as well. So they were able to close off the piece that they took off. And so that surgery was not as complicated because they weren't trying to reattach all the veins and everything, but that created for a lot more recovery because now my index finger and across my hand was all, pretty mangled at that point. So, so in order to keep the blood flow and the little bit of my thumb that I had left, I had to pull the artery from my index finger and move that over. So, and then again, they still really didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So moving, they were just like, okay, hey, like, we say this is cleaned up, this is what you got, but like, is it going to be functional to any capacity? We don't know. Is it going to be functional to professional athlete capacity? Like, we have probably slim, but we still don't know. There's still a chance. So obviously, I just kind of kept my hopes high. And then, after I got couple weeks went by, they went back in and looked at it, all the post-op dressings off and everything. And it was just like, I saw my hand for the first time and I was just like, oh my gosh, this sucks. Like, it really, like, just there was no answer whether or not anything was going to be functional. So just went to occupational therapy and worked with a therapist over there and did a lot of stuff at home, and obviously just trying my best, and worked out good. So I've been training on Supercross now, and that was in March and December. Now I'm getting ready for another season, so I try to act like, hey, it's nothing's holding me back. Obviously it's I'm sitting here right now, like my hand's just kind of tingly.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal, but I'm not going to make any excuses over it on the track. Anybody else probably would, but for me, it's full steam ahead. And we did a lot of work this preseason, and just with the bike and the crew and training, and I've really put in my best effort forward. Big things I wanted to change this year was like, hey, if I'm going to go back and doing this sport and at a professional level, like I am going all in. Like, I'm not going to go through all this and then still have some baggage weighing me down. It's like, no, it's like we're doing it or we're not doing it. So made that decision pretty early on, and I'm feeling really good on the bike now, but probably stronger and better than I felt in a long time, like that I can honestly remember. So everything happens for a reason, they say. So we'll see.
That's great to hear, man. Like, really, I'm very impressed and very, very thankful for you that it's turned out the way it did, because it was looking a little grim, if I'm being honest. A little. So, yeah, very happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we all know that you're like the owner of the team. During the recovery, was there a point where you were just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to be like the team manager, or was this no matter what, I'm going to be riding, like with a hook on my hand?
Hey, dude. So I did skip some details there. Like Sunday after Indianapolis, woke up and, obviously had some friends and family, teammates and stuff come visit me in the hospital. And, my brain immediately went to like, hey, the show goes on with or without me. Like, how are we cleaning this up? And my longtime friend, teammate, one of my best friends, Juwan Cross, was just recently split ways with his team that he was with at the beginning of last year. And maybe 5-6 hours after surgery, I'm in the hospital and I'm like, hey, how are we going to make this work? Like, you're going to come and you're going to fill my spot on the team. Yeah. And immediately just to work. And looking back on it, man, it's crazy. But like, we showed up, the next week in Detroit, and he went to our shop and our track and got used to the bike and rode the stuff, and we got all the gear and everything sealed away, and he filled in the rest of the season. And then for me, like, it's like, oh, hey, like, we got work to do. Like I said, the show goes on. And it really hit me that first week, all the work that I did. I didn't really truly realize how much work I was doing outside of racing, just for the team, like as a racer and then a team owner.
Right.
Because my week looked no different than it did the week before. And I was sitting in the hospital and I wasn't racing the next weekend. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what have I got myself into? Like,
yeah, that's a lot.
Because we slowly built it up. It was very organic growth with the team. It started off just me and my longtime buddy Michael Kaiden going racing together, just to be more efficient. And hey, we'll get more sponsors and have more resources if we work together. So let's do it. And then just kind of spiraled upward from there. And a little bit more every year, and you do that 6 years in a row, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, we're doing a lot. So that was a good thing for. Yeah. So I was able to reset, like, hey, dude, I don't need to be doing all this stuff. Like, I want to race. Like, if I'm going to do this, obviously I had to finish the season off, but it's like, I need to get more people in place, more resources. Like, I want to be a racer, because some of that stuff, like, I might be good at it, but I don't really like to do it, or I don't want to do it. Now, is that the future and like long term? Absolutely. Like, I'm building a foundation and I have a direction to go with this industry outside of that, based on everything I've been doing. But yeah, I definitely want to focus on racing for right now. But during that time, it was a roller coaster for sure. So there was no this way or that way thought. It was just kind of, hey, let's just keep moving.
So how is a team like yours, just kind of thinking about this as you're talking, how do you pick riders? Like I know some of the teams and the smaller teams don't have a budget to pay people. Is it people bringing in sponsors? What constitutes you picking different riders to be on your team?
Yeah, so over the years, obviously we've grown a reputation within the pits, just on where we're at, having resources and some structure and doing things like that. I used to think it was super cool when riders would reach out to me like, hey, do you have any openings, or is there any way I can be part of your team? And I was just like, yeah. Now I'm just like, stop calling me. Like, so obviously, proving yourself and having a good reputation, and just little by little, that word's going to spread. So, now obviously we have to pick riders, and people that I've worked with in the past. Currently, since I'm still racing, like, I like to have matured riders that you kind of know what you're going to get. Like, that is,
so you don't have to babysit them.
Yeah. Like, I thought it would be really cool to help some younger, teenagers that are kind of coming in and really give them like a good guidance. But it's like, well, that's a lot more work. Do I want to do that maybe in the future? For sure. But right now it's like, no, like, I want people that I can work with and help get them to the next step of their career and have some career best with them. But it's easier to sell that too. But obviously I'm a racer, so, and I'm, about the same age as everybody that I'm racing with. So, a lot of it's based on friendship. It's how well do you get along with somebody? Do you want to kill them at the end of 17 races, or do you want to go hang out with them still?
Yeah.
And then just, similar core values is a big thing for me. How you get along off the track and, in stressful situations, like what kind of decisions are those people going to be making?
Like J-Law.
So yeah, dude, there's so many fast riders that, I can't stand to have a conversation with. And it's like, you're really not beneficial to me at all. And I wouldn't be beneficial to them. So,
I like the honesty.
Somebody, so we have Freddie this year, and Josh Cartwright's back with us, and Freddie was with us last year also during Supercross. So, I was friends with those guys prior to this, and obviously like we have stuff to offer them, and, they're benefiting from our program, and we're growing with them. Freddie had his career best Supercross year last year. It's the first time he's ever finished all 17 rounds. And he's the only rider, even during the summer when he rode Suzuki, he was the only rider to do all 31 races.
Yeah.
So, not to say that, hey, I'm claiming that for Freddie, it's like, Freddie did that on his own, but at the same time, it's like the structure and those types of things, it goes a long way. Cause if you're in the 17 races of Supercross and then next year, all 31 races, like there's a lot that can happen. Things can get out of hand real quick. So having good structure, guidance, and just confidence in the program goes a long way.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's really cool to hear how you kind of wear the two different hats as a rider and a owner. I think it's a really cool process. But what do you kind of go through mentally when you're at it? You're there and you're trying to make sure that your pit presence for your team is getting exposure and that you're dealing with the fans and talking to people and all that stuff. But then you got to go try to qualify, and then you're on the way back and you're thinking about your lap times that you just put in or your heat result finish or however that was, but you're still focused on what the team's got to do. Like, do you kind of switch back and forth, or how does that process go for you mentally?
Yeah, that's a really good question. This year, the structure and personnel that we have, I would say personnel is the biggest thing that allows people to do that. Right. People talk about, say like Chad Reed when Choo Choo Motorsports is around. It's like, Chad is doing a lot behind the scenes, like not taking anything away from him, but he also had people that he could trust that were in his corner that were getting stuff done that he didn't need to worry about in that moment. So some years for me, it's been really stressful and just really distracting. And to be completely honest, like last year was a really bad year when it came to that. And that's something that I decided. I'm like, hey, if I'm going to go back and I'm going to race, like I want to make sure like we push to get to the next step, to have more trustworthy personnel, people that are level-headed that we can really count on, that are going to be there all the time. And, we obviously hired Derek Rankin as crew chief, and Ryan Kuntz, my assistant, and Todd Brunner's also another assistant now to me. So, and then we got a whole new lineup of mechanics also that Derek and I interned and, interviewed, and just everything that, these guys are working really well. Everybody's got similar values. It's very, very important for me to be able to separate that. So training days right now, I'm working with my mechanic Bailey and relaying information through him and Derek, and we're talking about the bikes, and Derek's working with the other riders on their bike setup and through their mechanics and trainers and everything like that. So, when the conversation's done on that, then it's like, hey, what else do we need to talk about? So where are those other pieces that are funneling in? Okay, you had this problem with this guy. Okay, well, let's get that solved. So right now, the main focus is myself. Mm-hmm. And then everybody's pulling their weight and everybody's doing a really good job. So then it's like, okay, what areas do we need addressed?
Bubba Pauli, brought to you tonight by Guts Racing.
Yeah, Bubba, we have some listeners in our live chat. Garrett Rockley and Sporting Wood are talking about how you were racing a 1983 Husqvarna.
Yeah, that was probably a year ago, I think, in a vintage race. I blew that bike up, if I remember right.
So yeah, tell us about that, and then maybe if you were ever planning on doing any more vintage racing. These guys really enjoy that vintage racing.
Yeah, Garrett's
stuff.
a big vintage guy. Sporting Wood probably is too.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, his dad has a huge vintage motocross collection, and there was a local race. It was actually the first track I ever raced at, Splinter Creek Dirt Riders, and here in St. Louis, and said, yeah, let's go do this vintage race. And I never really rode a vintage bike before, so I'm like, okay. And I go out first moto, blow it up. I'm like, oh man, I felt like horrible. I just blew this guy's bike up, and he's like, no, it's fine. Just go ride the other one the next moto. I'm like,
that's normal.
Yeah. So and then somebody else came up and they're like, hey, you want to ride my 77 YZ100 for the next one? And I'm like, can I do that? Like, I'm just switching bikes every time on the track.
That is vintage racing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
It was terrifying. Like the one bike had great suspension. The next one wanted to loop out every time I hit the power band. Like the next one had no brakes. I'm just like, these things are crazy.
It's like pit bike racing. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, with kind of back to the team thing for a second, with the way it's growing, you're in the beginning process of that, and you're still racing and being involved. As it grows and matures, and you go into a different part of your career, do you want to have any involvement with amateur racing, or maybe go do the Brownie program where you race Loretta's and stuff like that, but have the team there? Any plans for an amateur program like that?
Yes and no. I mean, right now, like my main focus is obviously just keep working on what we're doing. And,
Right.
if those doors open when we're, whatever time comes, like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love motocross. I love racing. I would say right now, like when I'm done racing professional, like I probably won't be, maybe a couple local races a year, but like I'm put so much into it. I mean, in the summertime, like I chase fair races all summer. Then it's like, man, I'm racing, 5 or 6 times a week through the month of July and August, like every week. So, I mean, there's a lot of racing that I've done over the years. And I think I'll definitely look forward to enjoying it from a different angle. And then, going back to like my dad talks about, hey, I want to go down to Monster Mountain and spend some time in the camper, just me and him, or go to Loretta's or Gatorbacks or Minios or something. Like he really liked those times when, as a teenager and stuff. But I'm just kind of like, that sounds like chaos to me. I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, your opinion may change in a few years, but I know where you're coming from right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we hear about you. You just said the fair race. This is something kind of random. I wanted to touch on this real quick. Was you talking about the fair race? If other people, we don't have that here in East
I was
Texas.
thinking about that.
We don't know what that is. Like is that just like literally like a county fair has a race? What is that?
Yeah, so I mean, like your county fair has, monster trucks or demo derby, and like
our county fair
here.
must suck.
Yeah, our county fair
man.
We used to have stuff like that. My dad did a demolition derby here, and then like at Lone Star Speedway, they used to have the monster trucks come out. It wasn't necessarily at the fair, but
that's what I'm saying. But this is
kind
like
of what he's talking about. Though.
a
Just
county
like these
fair
little
where they're
one-off-
showing pigs and racing dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's
I've never.
I would say within, last year or this summer, I want to say I did like 25 races.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't drive any more than 4 hours.
Yeah, like
from my house.
Ryan Brees is big on that stuff too.
You
guys
can make
like
money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done Have you done like the rodeos where they barrel race? The barrel race the dirt bikes?
I've never done one of those. There was one that I heard about after the fact that was only like 30 minutes from where I live, and I was like, oh, that would have been sick. But it was, nobody talks about those things, like because they'll randomly pop up. Like sometimes the fairs are like they'll have it one time every 10 years. They'll have a dirt bike race.
Just say nobody talks about it because they don't want fast guys like you to show up. They want to take the
their
purse.
money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, for me, it's kind of like, all right, like where the good ones are at. Like I figured everybody kind of knows where those are at. So,
Right.
But every once in a while, there's one that'll pop up. It's like, hey, $5,000 purse on a Monday night. It's like, okay, well,
That's
nothing to go.
insane.
It's like, oh yeah, there's the biggest
Well, a lot of those
one
guys-
around here is like 15 grand. I think $15,000.
I wish they had that around here. That'd be cool.
And that's the Monday night entertainment. What are they doing on Saturday and Friday?
Grease pigs.
Yeah.
Hey, Bubba, I want to talk about the team a little bit more. You made a quote a little while ago. You were talking about that you realize you need some things needed to change. I'm going to change some things. Give me some specifics. What were a couple things that you needed to change within the team?
Personnel and just structure.
Okay.
Like I was taking on so much myself, and we had good mechanics and good riders and other help, but like Derek Rankin, like this year so far, he came on in August, so he went to the SMX races with us, and we helped out Cartwright and then Colt Nichols for that.
Yeah.
And, so like we got to work together prior going into Supercross. I kind of told Derek, I said, hey, well, let's take this, we'll do like 2 months here and let's see if this is going to work out. And like, I knew right away. I'm like, okay, like he's got a really good background. He's got good experience, and I've known him for a long time. He's from the Midwest. So like he's able to go home on the weekends. Like it's great. But, taking that load off of me for, figuring out what to test and get everything to the riders and shipping stuff out and building race bikes. I mean, last year, like me and Jason Watkins were building race bikes. Like, I'm like, why was I building race bikes?
Right,
like, well,
sure.
what we had to do, you know? So, you know, just that's really taken that load off myself. I mean, I'm taking care of business stuff and, you know, some management stuff, but like I'm not involved with the equipment at all when it comes to obviously like testing procedures and, you know, like anything. It's like, hey, I'm going to do my motos and he's going to throw things at me throughout the day. And it's like, okay, we're good. This is what we figured out. So like last year I was doing all of that. I was sending stuff to riders and, you know, hey, Freddie, did you try this today? And he's like, oh no, I'll try it tomorrow. I'll be like, okay, well, I got something else I need you to try tomorrow. So wait a minute. Like,
that's too much for one person. Yeah.
You know, and on top of that, I was trying to ride. So
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is huge. And then obviously, you know, finances with any team is big. You know, like I started this with absolutely nothing. And, you know, unfortunately I had to go through an injury to realize, you know, it's like, hey, we need to structure things differently financially, to where, you know, we're putting more into personnel, putting more into riders, but also growing the program and looking at that next step, because everything's just been, you know, sponsor check to sponsor check. And it's just like, it gets really stressful. So still kind of, I had zero debt. Like there's nothing to be owed on anything at all, which is great. I lived my whole life that way. But you're still relying on every single check to come in. And that is like this time of year is super stressful. And I have an outline and direction I want to go, but obviously have to build out of that. So that's something that I didn't really plan for before. And now it's very clear that's something that I need to do.
Okay.
So working on that as well. And that's going to take time. Like obviously that's not going to change tomorrow unless for some reason maybe one of your listeners got, you know, $1 million to throw at somebody, then hey, I'll take it. But
we'll split it with you. If they'll support us, we'll support you. Yeah. I like the idea though.
Take it. Yeah.
Two things I want to bring up based off some of the things you just said. You mentioned obviously Derek Rankin, Jericho. For those that listen to Pulp, you guys know Jericho. Yeah, he's really good at what he does. As long as you give him time to go watch Raw and go see Lamb of God, he's good to go the rest of the time. Like he definitely schedules or tries to schedule like shows, concerts around the races. And I love it. He's always messaging me and like, hey, there's a show the night before. We're going to try to get there. So, but yeah, as long as he gets those things in, he's good to go.
Yeah. He told me a couple weeks ago, he's like, hey, for Detroit, just randomly. He was hey, for Detroit, don't do anything with my travel. Like, I'm just going to take care of all that. Yep. I'm just like, okay, why? He's like, there's a show. I'm like,
Machine Head. Yeah. We're trying to get, we talked, we're trying to make sure that maybe get the band there. Yeah. So yeah, it's Machine Head and, man, I'm blanking on the other band, but yeah, that's rad. The other thing I want to talk about, you were mentioning the financial side of it, and obviously Mad Parts has been a big part of your program. How have you gotten involved with Mad Parts? How did that come about? And how do you go about securing financial support sponsors?
Yeah, so madparts.com is an online retailer, similar to Rocky Mountain Motorsport. Mm-hmm. Which they have a brick and mortar store, which is Jonesboro Cycle in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Okay.
It's a 200,000 square foot facility they just moved into this year. So they're a big shop. They sell all the brands, and I got hooked up with them 5 years ago. And just a dealer to support us through bikes and stuff, and slowly have grown that to where we're at now. They helped out huge last year with that rig that we're in. So that was really good. And obviously like all of our parts that we don't get direct from sponsors are coming through those guys as well. Like they're on top of the game with that for sure. And then, so like I said, our bikes and, everything has, organically just kind of grown through that. So, and then, securing sponsorship, I used to look at it a different way, and now I kind of take a different approach. I've probably called 10,000 people just randomly trying to get something going, and I think that maybe amounted to like maybe $10,000
Wow.
over the years. So like
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. Like you're wasting your time. It just takes patience. Like that's the biggest thing. Just go out, be a good person, do a good job, be professional, talk to people in a genuine way when you meet them, and it will slowly develop into something. And, for us, like every year, I have people that call that want to be a part of the program. You have good relationships with people and your deals just, keep slowly growing. Not all of them, but some of them. And sometimes you have to go different ways with other people. That's just the harsh reality of business. But I see so many people trying way too hard, and I see sponsors just come and go. And, you have to be beneficial to them. And if you can't provide anything to them other than putting a sticker on your motorcycle, it's like, well, what's the point? Like,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
not going to end up with much out of that. So, it's the good deals take time, and they're not everywhere. It's, the stars really have to align, but, it's obviously it's possible. Still working those things, and like I said, if there was $1 million budget just sitting around, it's like, yeah, okay, we'll take it. That'll take us really far. We're a super lean team. Every dollar gets accounted for and it goes somewhere that's being useful. We don't waste money on dinners or first class flights or, expensive hotels. Like,
Yeah.
We put the work in where we need it, in the funding where it needs to go to be, the most beneficial. But, I never want to get to a point where we're doing that. And obviously, your sponsors and your partners and people that are with you and around you, like they see that, if there's a week where I have to sleep in the rig at the track, then I'll do it. I'll be the first one to volunteer to do that. And I don't brag about it, but every once in a while a sponsor or somebody will see that, be like, dude, you slept here the night before the race? I'm just like, well, yeah, dude, I want to make sure my people are taken care of. The budget was tight. I was like, I didn't have, skimmed on a room this week. So,
love it.
That's just, kind of how I'm wired. I try to put everybody else first, but at the same time, I need to get better at that.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great process. I like it.
Hey, Bubba, just one last thing I wanted to ask you. I thought of this earlier when he said you're going to be on the show, probably just because you guys we're kind of always buying for the same spots. But are you going to miss lining up with A-Ray, or do you have any good stories about any LCQ battles or anything like that with him?
Oh man, him and I go way back. Yeah, it's. Obviously, that's just part of growing up. I mean, getting older, you step aside and the time was coming. But I remember I was with him in Detroit. We were both on the K1 Speed Honda team. And he made his first main event that year. I think it was 2015. And we slept on bunk beds in their rig, which their rig at the time was pretty squirrely. And, man, he was so pumped, his first main event. And I still have videos on my phone of he was chugging Fireball. He was so pumped. And,
sounds about right.
But yeah, and then I want to say probably the worst one was in Oakland of 2019. One of those years, I crashed in a rhythm section. I think I got cross-roaded or something, and it was a heat race, and he hit me, and we both just nasty crash. I think some other guys got into it, and he yelled at me or something.
I remember that. That wasn't that. I don't think that was 19. I feel like that was more recent than that.
Yeah, probably so. Maybe like 20.
Yeah.
Maybe, or I don't know. But I was just like, he was mad. Like he was, which I mean, dude, whatever. It's a racing incident or whatever. And he apologized to me the next week because he said his mom told him to apologize to me. So she's like, did you yell at him? He goes, yeah, I yelled at him. You need to say sorry.
Yeah.
How many times did he do that exact same thing to Cade or somebody else? Way more.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the pot calling the kettle black for sure.
Well, all right, we're going to close this thing out with I've got a question just on your riders and expectations. Obviously, you mentioned Freddie having his best season last year. Flirting with top tens. He's a great rider. And then Cartwright, shooting for mains and top 15s is kind of what I'm thinking. But I want to know what your goals are, what you'd like to see out of both those guys and yourself.
To be honest, just better than we've ever been.
Okay.
Riders just in every little area, at the end of the season, if the numbers are just a click better, then hey, we all did better. Freddie definitely in the top 10. Cartwright, to be completely honest, I would say there's going to be nights where he's going to finish in front of Freddie. He's got a lot more in the tank, and for myself, it's been a few years since I made a 450 main, so obviously I just my goal is getting the 450 main event, and obviously have all 3 riders in there at the same time is my dream. That's been my dream since this team really started getting going. And I think if there's 22 guys on the gate and 3 of them are from this little team out of St. Louis that is just climbing the ladder, that'd be a pretty good feeling for myself. So but yeah, I mean, just better. Obviously Josh Best last year, I think it was a 12. So, inch him a little bit closer, and myself, being there, and obviously all of us in the same time, and getting some hole shots. I think that'll be really big.
Okay.
Just getting the guys, all of us, myself included, heat race, main events, it's that's, I personally think, some of the best exposure. If you finish 10th, but you started in 15th, nobody sees you. If you finish 15th and you start first, it's well, that's a lot better for the team, the sponsors, and everybody involved. So, yeah, that's what we're shooting for this year for sure.
Okay, awesome. I love it, Bubba. I can't wait for the season to kick off. We're getting excited. It's right around the corner, and really appreciate you taking some time for us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Anytime, man. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you at day 1.
See you there.
All right, see you, bud. That's Bubba Pauli tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Really appreciate him jumping on. That was a lot of fun, man. That's I really think this is going to be their best season. Josh puts in pretty good results, and I think there's been some weeks where he didn't make mains, but he's very capable. And Freddie, I think Freddie's going to have his best year yet.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, TJ.
Well, no, I was just going to say it's a. I mean, I don't know if you can say best year yet, right? I mean, hadn't Freddie been on?
No, I think that was his best results
overall.
Okay. Yeah.
Overall.
Finish.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Okay, guys, we're going to jump into the pre-recorded Luke Clout interview. So we're going to mute our mics. We'll jump in for you guys that are on YouTube. We'll jump in and communicate and have some fun with you guys. And as soon as the Luke Clout interview is over, we'll be back to wrap up the show with our last segments and call it a night. All right, hang tight. All right, our next guest is brought to you by FXR Racing. You guys know FXR is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. So visit fxrracing.com to see the numerous gear lines, colorways. The 2024 line is out. It's fire. Check it out. You can also go to your local dealership and ask for FXR. Try it on. You will not be disappointed. Tonight, FXR brings us all the way from down under, Luke Clout. What's going on, Luke?
Not too much. Just, kind of just cruising now. We just got finished, with our season. So, just had a bit of a cruisy week, and just kind of another couple of weeks off, and then we'll get back into it. But I'm a little bit bored, to be honest.
Yeah, 2023 was a busy one for you, ups and downs, and the off season's always interesting. How different is the quote unquote off season in Australia from what you see over here in the US?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we definitely have a little bit of time off, but our season's really weird because we kind of we really do drag out the whole year. And then before you know it, you got to start getting ready again for, round 1 that's in March. And then we have another couple of weeks off after that. So it's kind of I don't know, it just feels like you want to have some time off, but you almost need to train. And so it gets a little bit confusing, but I try and squeeze in a couple of weeks, off right after the last round. And then obviously over Christmas, try and have a little bit of time off. But, it's good to have a bit of time off and stuff, like I said. But, I want to kind of get back on the bike and get ready. I just like riding and training. So.
Yeah, of course. I want to remind our listeners who maybe don't remember, 2024, you won the championship. 22, you got injured, a pretty big injury, round 2, the outdoor season over there.
Yeah.
Broke in a spiral fracture of the tibia and a clean break on the fibula. I know that's been a while now, but how brutal was that recovery?
Yeah, look, that was it was real bad, that one. I kind of kept it pretty quiet. Obviously, you know, with injuries, you just kind of, you get home and start your rehab. But, I spiral fractured the tibia and pretty much broke the tibia in like 4 places. And then that fibula was just kind of like a clean break. And then I also broke my ankle as well. And then we found out too, after surgery, I actually stretched and kind of had some nerve damage. So that the nerve damage was kind of something that still haunts me to this day. I got a lot of numbness and, in the whole bottom of my foot, basically, I can't, really feel it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what took a long time. That took pretty much 18 months to kind of get back to somewhat, half all right, I suppose. Like when I first started riding, like I really couldn't feel my foot onto the foot peg. So that was really kind of hard to adjust to. But, just the whole injury took a really, really long time to just really get back to, I wouldn't even say 100%, just get back to like kind of normal activities. Like I limped for about 6 months. I was in constant pain for probably, 3 or 4 months. I only just started being able to run, which is really like a year and a half later. So,
Jeez.
it was pretty tough, but, now I've kind of just, I've gotten back to a point where it doesn't bother me at all now. So I think that it just took a long time, even mentally, to kind of think, hey, when you're starting to ride and race, your leg's okay. So that took a long time, but, I'm at a point now that the injury's kind of, I'm looking at it in the rearview mirror, which is good.
That is good. With the numbness issue, is it something that seems to be getting better, or have you just adjusted how you grip with your legs and you've just kind of adjusted your riding style?
It's definitely gotten, it definitely has gotten a lot better since obviously like I first did it. Like it's night and day from that. But I think it's to a point now where I've kind of just gotten used to it, and I've just figured kind of how to, ride with it. Like you said, gripping, and there's a lot of things I do. I like sharpen my foot pegs to like the absolute limit, basically. So they're so sharp. And then I have all the grip tape on the side of the frame and stuff just to help with, a little bit more gripping. Because I found, to be honest, when I was first riding, I was slipping off the foot peg a lot. My right foot would slip off the foot peg. And that was just because I couldn't really, feel the pressure that I was putting down onto the peg. But, that was when I first started riding. So it has gotten better than that. But, it's just something I've gotten used to now, and it doesn't really bother me.
Good to hear. How did you feel going into the 23 season, which you guys kind of start with the outdoor season? How are you feeling going into that?
It was, I think, like, I don't know, like I was really kind of in the top of my game before I crashed. So, I was confident. I feel, I started feeling pretty good and I was riding well. But I think when I kind of got to the races in 23, I just didn't have that mental kind of, I don't even know, like that 100% mental, like I'm ready to go kind of thing. I didn't have the confidence and stuff. And I think I was just kind of chasing that all year. And then I went to one of the rounds and I got second overall, and I was like, okay, we kind of turned a page there, and I started, getting a little bit more confident. And then I just, after that, I got hurt again and broke my arm. So it was just one of those things that's like, okay, like I started, like, oh, finally I've got a little bit of confidence here and, going okay. And then, boom, another injury. So, it was tough.
Yeah, when you said going in that you didn't have the confidence you needed, did you realize that before you got to round one, or was it in the middle of like round one? You're like, oh, wow, maybe I'm not where I thought I was.
It was definitely at round one. I mean, I had a really good preseason, and all year, even up until kind of like Supercross, like throughout the week, I was riding like, some of the best probably I've ever been riding. Like I was really solid through the week. Everything that we'd been working on was just really, really good. But then I would almost just come to the races and I'd just kind of start doubting myself again, and then just would get to the race and I wouldn't just ride the way I should be riding. I think that was just a mental kind of thing. And so that was the hard part, trying to translate what I've been doing through the week to race day. So it's taken a little bit, but I feel like we're there now.
Yeah, and I was looking back at through some of the results from the outdoor series, and help me out here. Like round 1, I struggled to find the results. It just showed like shootout results. It seems like the formats were different at certain rounds. Is that the case?
Well, round 1, the round got cancelled.
Okay.
Because that's because unfortunately we had that kid that, he unfortunately passed away at round 1. So yes, I remember we went there. Yeah. So we went there obviously like ready to go racing, and that happened right before our first moto, his crash. So then, the event got put on hold and stuff. But some races were different formats. Like we had some back-to-back races, and then some were like a 2-day format and stuff. They were trying different things out this year.
Did you like that? Because, just like Super Motocross here, they were trying a little bit of different format to mix it up, different track styles. Did you like it being a little different, or are you kind of old school? Let's just go with what we have.
To be honest, I didn't mind the 2-day format. I think kind of like spreading the weekend out and just kind of giving us a little bit more track time on the Saturday and just slowing the whole event down. I enjoyed that. Like, I think that was pretty cool. I think just having more track time for everyone, I think that's definitely a positive. And I think that's what they're trying to incorporate next year too. From what I've heard, they're going to try and do a few, rounds next year that are like a 2-day, maybe kind of like an MXGP format a little bit more. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, the back-to-back races, yeah, it's kind of cool, but I think like traditional motos, I like a bit better.
Yeah, it's just what we're used to, I guess. How is the Australian scene as far as locally crowd showing up at these races? Is it pretty good?
It's not too bad. It just depends on the location. Like, we kind of go to like rural areas. So we go out to like, because that's where our tracks are. They're kind of out of the cities and stuff like that. So, sometimes we get decent crowds, and then others it's not great. And it also just depends on the location. Like if you're in kind of around the Sydney area or up in like Newcastle area, that's always great. That's like a real big like moto hub. And it's always a good kind of turnout. Up in Queensland as well, the weather's always nice. There's a pretty good crowd as well. But the Supercross season this year was pretty good. I think that was a step in the right direction. I think, we had, I think 15, 20,000 in some of the, rounds, but we just need to do some more races, I think, and then just keep building it from there. So.
Yeah, and you did pretty well in the Australian Supercross Series. 2nd overall, I believe. I think you went, there's 3 rounds, 5-3-3 or 5-3-1.
Yeah, but yeah, got the win in the end, which is good.
Yeah, so do you prefer Supercross or do you prefer outdoors, or does it really matter to you?
Look, as a younger kid, I used to love Supercross way more, which I still do. But I think we ride so much motocross now, and that's kind of like the dominant thing that we do here. So my Supercross skills as a kid was definitely better. But my motocross has gotten a lot better, the last few years. So I like motocross, but Supercross kind of at heart. I've always loved it, and I love Supercross season. And to me, Supercross just comes a bit more natural. So when Supercross season comes around, I just really love it. And the bigger the tracks, the better for me. So like I like the American style tracks as well, and then it's cool to get the Americans that come out and get to race, Dino and Brayton and all the guys like Josh Hill and stuff. It's cool. So it's cool to be able to be in the mix of those boys for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought about our guys, the U.S. guys coming over there and invading your space. If you liked it, the competition.
It's a love-hate. Look, if if those guys didn't come over here, I guess I'd probably have another 4 championships, I'd say, probably by now. But
right.
Look, honestly, it's awesome to have them come out. Like, it elevates us. It has, since having, Justin come out for the last few years and, beat us, the 5 years in a row that he has, it's elevated our whole program, from the practice tracks to the stuff that we do through the week and, the events and everything. It's made it bigger and better. So, I love having them out, and, you just get to see where you are at against those guys as well. So, you've got to be on the top of your game to be even able to, race with those guys. So, for me, I do love it, but I definitely would like to have those championships and that money in the bank.
Of course. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a little bit what your plans are for 24, but have you considered coming back to the U.S.? I think the last time you raced here was 2020.
Yeah, so 2020 went really well for me. Like I come up with a good Supercross season and battled with the championship with JB, and went over to America and did pretty good actually. A couple of top fives and stuff like that. But then obviously COVID kind of hit, and that kind of put a stop in basically everything, which sucked. And then had to come back here. But I think for me, like I don't think I'll come over like full time, but there's definitely some plans to come and do some races next year. Don't know kind of which ones I'll do, but I wouldn't mind trying to squeeze in, a couple of Supercrosses maybe, and do a couple of Supercrosses, motocrosses as well, and try and get some points to get in SMX. That would be the ultimate goal, but just got to kind of see how we go here and what dates I can do and things. But definitely would like to come over at some point and do some races.
Oh, that'd be great to have. Yeah, I'd love to see you over here. Let's talk about World Supercross for a minute. Obviously, it didn't go as planned schedule-wise. A lot of rounds got canceled and things changed, and it was just kind of a nightmare, honestly. But how did you feel about the series? I know round one, you had a pretty big get-off in the second race of the night. Yeah, you're laughing, but that thing was gnarly, dude. I just rewatched it a little while ago, and you were super, super lucky on that.
Oh, I was super lucky. I remember I had to go up and thank Bogle for that. He was a legend for helping me out. He kind of just was like, oh, whatever, and dropped his bike and come and help me out and being stuck in the back of the block. I think, look, overall, I think we need, if we see the series build and, you get to that 5, 6, 7 rounds, I think it's awesome. There's a lot of potential there for sure. But there's a lot of stuff that, that they need to figure out. But, it's a first few years championship. Like, it's not just going to be, the first year, it's the best thing ever. And, like everything runs to plan. But, I'm fully, supportive of what they've got going. I think Supercross does need to go global. It's an awesome sport, as, you guys know, and we all know. But I think, just some of the track designs should be a little bit, taken into consideration, and some of the first turns, there's been a lot of first turn crashes. Nearly every race there's a first turn crash, and a little bit dangerous in that aspect. But, if we can just figure some things out and all the riders, get a little bit of a say, and we all work together and try and build it. I hope in 5-10 years it's a really, really positive thing, which, it's got the potential to be. So I'm happy to be a part of the journey, and just want to see it build.
Yeah, like the Melbourne round looked really good from over here watching on TV. Abu Dhabi was, I understand why they wanted to go there, but that a little arena cross series type of track, it doesn't meet the standards, in my opinion, of what Supercross is. And I know that it was very hard to race that round.
Yeah, I get it. Like, it's quite a small stadium. And like I said, it just comes back to, you've kind of got what you've got. And if that's where we're going to go, cool. Because Abu Dhabi's an awesome country. It was a great place to visit. And if that's the stadium, I think we just got to go back to trying to, figuring out the track designs a little bit more, and, figuring out how we can make them a little bit more raceable, a bit more enjoyable for everyone, and things like that. But, Melbourne was awesome. Melbourne's a big stadium, awesome, venue. The dirt was awesome all weekend. Full size, pretty much full size track. And, I think the racing was good. Even the 450 class, it was awesome. The 250 class was stacked, really good racing and things like that. So I think for sure Melbourne's always been a good one. I enjoy going there, obviously, because it's my home country and stuff like that. But I think, if we can move forward and have majority of events like in a Melbourne event, I think it's just going to grow and grow. So awesome way to end the year. But I think, next year we just got to kind of go off the Melbourne race and just keep building forward for that.
Absolutely. You're signed to CDR Yamaha this year. That's who you've been racing for. How's it been on that team? When you test, how much testing do you get to do? How many resources does the team have to get you what you need?
Look, they've got a lot of resources. Duck has been around for bloody hell. He's been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
So he's built a lot of relationships. He's got a lot of contacts. Gets good parts and stuff like that. So, new bike this year. The 2023 Yamaha was a new model. So it took a long time, to be honest, for me to kind of get comfortable. I don't know if I really did get comfortable in outdoors this year, to be honest. I think in Supercross, that's a completely different story. It was an awesome bike in Supercross, and as soon as I rode the bike, I was like, on Supercross, I was like, this is really, really good. But I never really had that same feeling in outdoors, to be honest, with the new bike. And I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was just the way the chassis is on the bike and kind of the parts or the testing, that we did. It was really weird. But I think, for a Supercross bike, it's unreal. And that's why, you look at Tomac and stuff, and when he came out on it, he was just a complete animal on it. So,
yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, so I think even you look at Cooper Webb now and the way he's riding it, in the preseason videos, he looks really good. But it was. But yeah, like I said, with Duck has got a lot of kind of contacts over the years he's made and great horses. So he's been a pleasure to ride for over the years, and it's been good.
Well, let's wrap this thing up with two questions. One, what are your plans for 2024? I'm sure you're looking ahead as you are in the off season. What are your goals for next year? Well,
I'll start off my goals next year. Definitely is to get back to winning. I ended this year with a win, and I think for me that's just kind of the best thing that could have happened for me in this whole off season. Just to sit here and think, the confidence that I've taken out of that win for the whole off season / preseason going into round one next year with that confidence. It couldn't have happened at a better time for me to end like that. And World Supercross, the last round to ride the way I did, and finally start to ride, the way I should be. So for sure, I'm going there next year to win. And that's motocross and Supercross. Supercross battle again with the American boys that come over, and World Supercross as well. Just, I want to, be on the podium again and fighting for wins. So that's kind of the goal in that sense. But yeah, next year it will be a little bit different for me. Obviously, I can't say too much as of yet, but
sure.
Be a little bit different for me. I think, different kind of everything pretty much. And I'm really looking forward to it. There's some great people I've got around me for next year. And I think next year it's going to be a good year.
Looking forward to that. I'm going to close this out with a training question. When you're 3 weeks out from the series, Vegemite or Tim Tams?
I don't really, to be honest, I don't really eat either.
Okay.
But if I had to pick one, it'd be probably Vegemite. But wow. I'm a peanut butter guy. I'm a peanut butter guy.
Yeah, I had. Are you familiar with Peter Coward? He goes by Moose. He's a big Australian guy. Shoots photos for a lot of.
Yeah.
So he listens to our show and he sends me a care package a couple times a year, hundreds of things of Tim Tams, and he sent the Vegemite over a few years ago, and we did a taste test live on YouTube, me and my boys, and I don't know how you guys eat that stuff, man. I'm out.
Yeah, I know. All the American guys, they just can't do it.
No,
I think you guys got the ratio wrong though. You got to do a lot of butter and a little bit of Vegemite. I think that's where everyone goes wrong.
I was told that we went way too heavy on the Vegemite. I was told that.
Yeah, I knew that would have been the ratio is definitely out. But I can imagine the Tim Tams. All the guys that I speak to, they love the Tim Tams.
Oh, man, I love those things. Every time I get a package, I'm excited. And I have to watch myself because, I'm on troll training, so I have to be real careful.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I won't like that.
Yeah, but, well, Luke, man, it's been really great talking to you. And I really, really hope you make it over in 24 for some U.S. rounds. I'd love to visit with you in person.
Perfect, man. No, I appreciate the call.
Absolutely. You have a good rest of your day over there in Australia or down there in Australia, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. See you, buddy. All right. That's Luke Clout, brought to you by FXR Racing. Really appreciate him coming on. And, we'll be right back.
Okay, guys, we are back live. If you're on the YouTube chat, that was fun. We had some good conversations going on. And if you're listening in post, you need to join the YouTube chat. Don't forget, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. You can interact with the show. You can send us your thoughts on your top 5 or your top non-moto podcasts. Couple riders maybe that you're thinking of that you're excited to watch. We've got some other things coming up. Anything really that you want to communicate with us about, anything you want us to talk about, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. I still got a bunch of you guys reaching out through like Instagram. Not really the end of the world. I'll answer those, but I'd really, if you want to get involved with the show, the email would be better for me. So yeah, please, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Hope you guys like that Luke Clout interview. But let's get into the X-Brand Forum check-in. X-Brand Goggles has grown into one of the premier goggle choices for many racers, including GNCC champions like Lyndon Snodgrass, Bryson Neal, Craig DeLong, Josh Strang, many others. Hunter Lawrence is wearing them with the Alpine Star branding, but they are still Lucid goggles. Check out xbrand.com, eksbrand.com, or go to your local dealership. Ask for X-Brand Goggles, distributed through WPS. The X-Brand Forum check-in this week is posted by somebody named Queen of Spades. The topic, there's my voice just broke. Sound like Scotty. The topic was off-season boredom, posting a list of every bike you've ever owned. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to go through some of the bikes we've owned.
My list is sadly small.
Okay, well, mine's not very long either, so
I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way I can list them all.
Yeah, I figured yours would be really long. So I'm gonna do mine first. First bike was a 1980 Weisinger 50. Then I had an 81 YZ 80. And 89 RM 125 was really the first bike when I actually discovered what motocross was and went to a track. My first bike I bought on my own, I was in high school, was a 93 CR250. Probably my favorite bike ever, mainly because it was the first one I ever bought with my own money. 2000 CR250. I got that a few years later after I'd kind of quit riding for a while. Then my 06 Honda 450, which I still own.
You still have that one.
It's still in parts.
That's right.
And then I had a 2015 Honda CRF 450 that if you guys have been a Pulp listener for a long time, before I started even doing this show, my dad just came home from work one day and like called me to their house, my parents' house. And my nephew's like, "Hey, Jamie, you need to come in the garage. Uncle Jamie, you need to come in the garage." And my dad had bought me at like 35 years old. I was 35-ish, 40. Decided to buy me a bike.
It was used, right?
No, it was brand new. He just decided I would probably never be able to afford one working at the city, never splurge, and he thought I deserved one, so he bought me a bike.
That was a cool bike, actually.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then everything after that has been Vital bikes. So that's my list of bikes. I think the favorite would still be my 93 CR250. That was just cool. I'd love to still have that. Scotty, since yours is somewhat short, let's go to you.
My first bike was a PW50 I got when I was like right as I was turning 4.
That's cool.
Had that same bike until I was 9.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I rode the same bike until I was 9.
And it probably would still run today. Those things
it outran. Okay, so that bike and my dad's Honda CR125 got stolen. With the insurance money back then, they used to.
Oh, you had insurance on it.
My dad did.
Yeah, cool.
And they had. Back then, they priced it as if it was new.
Oh, wow.
So he bought with that money from his 95 CR125 and my probably 89 PW50.
Yeah.
We bought a brand new out of the crate PW50, a brand new out of the crate KX65, and he got a used KX250.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Nice.
He might have spent a little bit of money to get his, but either way.
Sure.
So, and that 89, me and my dad talked about this. We actually mentioned it like not even that a couple weeks ago. That 89 PW50 would outrun the brakes off of that brand new PW50 I got out of the crate. It was a, what do they call it when you get just a bad, like a duck?
A lemon?
A lemon.
Yeah.
It was a lemon, bro. That thing never ran like it was supposed to. The 89 would run circles around it. So anyways, I went from that to a KX65. A couple years later, I got a KX85. And then I got a 03 KTM 125. And then I had...
That was the no linkage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you this. That thing never really liked to run that great. But if the days that it did run, there was no better 125 than that
random.
bike. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you go to the track like maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Yeah, exactly. It was the carburetor was real finicky.
Yeah,
I mean, I had to do the air screw almost every time if it changed 10 degrees. But when you had it right, it ran good. And after that, I had a 04 YZ250, and then I sold that when I was in college. And then when I got back into riding in my mid to late 20s, my dad had a 03 YZ250 that had been sitting in the backyard for years. Rebuilt it, raced that. Then I had a YZ450. It was a 2011, and then now I have my KTM 2017 KTM 450. That's
almost
everybody
back
knows.
together.
Everybody
Almost
knows about.
Yeah, I still have my very first dirt bike. It was a pipe.
Oh yeah, you have it up on hanging in your shop.
I don't now, but I did in my other shop. I had it hanging. I'm gonna put it back up there, but it's a pipe frame mini bike called a Fox Scrambler. Had like a little like Briggs and Stratton style motor on it. And then for a long time, after that, I turned 15, got my motorcycle license, and rode street bikes until I was like 20, and raced quads. I had 4 or 5 quads, like back when Suzuki was giving me stuff, and then switched over to a Honda 125. And then I've had a bunch of bikes.
Yeah, too many to name.
Yeah. That honestly, my favorite bike though was the YZ 125 with the 144 big bore kit.
Oh yeah.
That's my most favorite bike I've ever had.
What year was that one?
It was the aluminum frame.
Oh, it's like 05, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was aluminum frame, but I can't remember.
That was the first year they did that.
Even though I'm not supposed to have our chat open still because we had it open during the Luke Clout thing. And CBH 148 says, "What were you thinking selling a 93 CR250?" And I gave a response. But at that time, I was like 19, maybe 20, and I punctured my first lung and broke my first collarbone. And I healed up a few months later, and the day that I healed was like released to go ride. I went riding, I broke my pelvic bone, and I was just like, I'm done. I'm never going to ride again. So I sold the bike literally that night, and I got rid of it, and I hated it.
I've never said that about riding.
Well, I did, and I regretted it. Of course, what's crazy, this would have been probably 95. I would say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I saw that bike back in White Oak, where I live, White Oak, Texas. It's literally the small town I live in. And I knew it was that bike because I had stripped it and painted the frame yellow. I had put the 94 CR graphics on it, which were yellow. And I did something really dumb when I was 19. I took all the brake lines and the clutch,
oh my God.
What are you thinking?
Well, I don't know yet. Come on.
Well, he just said, oh my God. I had colored electrical tape and I wrapped them. That tape was still on there. The frame was still yellow.
Probably would have protected them.
Yeah.
So, but I was driving by and I saw the bike. I was like, holy shit, that's my 93. And it was just destroyed, roached.
You should have bought it.
I went, knocked on the guy's door. He wanted like $2,000 for it. I was like, fuck you.
I don't even think I sold it for $2,000.
I'd give you $500 for it. It was destroyed.
Did it run?
Trash. It didn't look like it would run. It might have, but it couldn't have been like, there's no way he had done like a top end. It was trash.
Yeah.
But
what'd you sell it for?
Why did I sell it?
No, how much?
I think I got $2,000 for it in like 95.
He still wanted $2,000 for it in the 2000s.
But I mean, I would have loved to have that bike back, and it would have taken me a long time to repair it, especially then. But
I know how you feel about that. I know people won't care about this, but I built a chopper at my shop years ago, and a lot of really custom, awesome parts. Built the frame. I mean, I used I can't remember what year it was in the 90s or early 2000s when Cowie had the blue anodized forks. I don't know. The upper.
I don't remember the year either, but yeah.
I used a set of those forks because I wanted a front brake on it, and dude, I loved that bike, and I search for it like once a week on Facebook Marketplace trying to find it for sale because it was a Honda CB 750 motor, and if I find that bike, I mean whatever it costs, I'll buy it.
Switching topics real quick, I got to get off this chat but John Sheets just said, I'm sorry, but how did the Bradshaw and Dart clip get started? So obviously maybe a relatively new listener. So I'll give the story that I'm going to close. I'm closing chat out right now, actually. So John, I was at a fly ride day in 2020 and
Cycle Ranch.
At Cycle Ranch. Damon Bradshaw was there, and I'd never met him before. Introduced myself. We visited a little bit, and he had the brand new 2020.
Oh, it was more than that, though.
What's that?
Because you're missing the part that y'all were sitting around playing pool.
Oh, that was the night before.
The night before.
That doesn't really have anything to do with it.
It does kind of, because that's what like there was like some
Bonding.
Bradshaws.
Oh, well, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I guess we did meet the night before shooting pool. He and I played 3 games of pool.
And you beat him.
I beat him on the 3rd game.
And he hated it.
He wasn't stoked. I don't usually tell people that he beat me the first 2. I just say I beat Bradshaw playing pool.
There you go.
And what was happened the game before? So now we're way off
lies
topic.
upon lies.
The game before. Well, actually, the first 2 games came down to the 8 ball, and he beat me on both. But I missed the 8 ball so the 8 ball could not have been any closer to falling in the pocket without falling in.
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out. And I remember saying that 8 ball was your championship. That's how close it was.
Damn.
That was basically my first real interaction with Damon. Next day, I asked if I can ride his bike. And I guess I have to give a little backstory. I'd been having some issue with my arm going numb. I'd had a pinched nerve, and I hadn't been riding very much because my hand was numb all the time. And coming into this weekend, I actually felt good. So I rode Saturday, and then I was riding Sunday. Why are you laughing?
I don't want to say it.
Is it something in chat that I closed?
No,
Oh,
no.
anyway.
I was going to say something funny, but
Go ahead.
I was just going to say your arms must not be going numb anymore because you're single and having to use them.
Oh, yeah, I'm using them daily. But anyway, I put a lot of time in, and then I came off the track, and I asked Damon if I could ride the brand new 20 Yamaha. Maybe it was 21 because I think it was 2020, so it was a 21 Yamaha. And he had just gotten a bike that weekend. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And I rode it, 20 minutes. Decided to get off the main track, went to the little back track they had where nobody was at, lost track of where I was, and there's like a wall jump that you kind of brake check and roll down. And I launched off of it, and I'd been tired. My hand was starting to go numb. And when I landed off this wall jump single thing, my body just collapsed. Chest into the handlebars, collapsed along, broke a couple ribs, had my GoPro going, and caught that audio. And that night in the hospital, maybe the next day, I feel like it was that night, could have been the next day, I was listening to it. I was like, this is like embarrassing, but there's no way, like I have to send this to Steve Mathis. It's too funny to not use. And yeah, so I sent it to him. So I threw myself under the bus. I literally didn't say the whole, I fucked up Bradshaw's bike so soon. It was probably 10, 15 minutes into the GoPro just running. I just edited it together because it was funny. So yeah, that's the story. I just knew it was funny enough that I didn't really care if I was going to get made fun of. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
So that's the backstory. Yeah. All right.
And then his buddies had to all come together and get your bike home and your chick.
Yeah. Well, no, they didn't. Mark was Mark Poole, who used to be a host of the show, was going to come down there and pick me up and get my truck and bring me back. But the schedule wasn't working out, and my girlfriend at the time, Amber, drove down and to be with me for a few days in the hospital. And I just was like, fuck it, when they released me, I had to take me to my truck, and I drove home. So I drove myself home.
Oh, okay.
3 or 4 days after Mark was going to come. He
fully loaded your stuff up for you?
Somebody at the track, I think.
Fully did.
Oh, yeah, it was fully. I was going to say, I think somebody else helped him, but fully loaded it from the Cherubies. And yeah, that was it. So no, I actually did drive myself home, but that's the story. Let's do there.
I left. I left.
Oh, you were there the day before.
The day before.
Yeah. 6D emails. Since its inception almost 12 years ago, 6D Helmets has been dedicated to the relentless pursuit of brain protection. From the original ATR-1 to a successor, the ATR-2, the goal is to develop a revolutionary design concept utilizing creative, forward-thinking technology that would change the market and improve the safety capabilities of the sports helmets. Since the helmet is the most important piece of protective equipment you will purchase, go visit 6dhelmets.com or go to your local dealership and ask for 6D. I forgot to mention last week that we did get a winner of the FXR Casual and the Tim Tams. It was Nicholas Carter.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Nicholas, I have not sent the Tim Tams out. I will. I promise you I still have them. I'll get them out to you. I hope you got the FXR. Let me know if it's come in. If not, I will get with FXR. I'm going to pull all these. I just screenshot all these emails because we actually got a fair amount. All right. This first one should be from, this is actually Nick's hang on. Yeah, this is Nick's, the guy that won. First, I'd like to thank you guys for providing great moto content on a mostly weekly basis. I don't have any concerns with the show, as I believe the length, because I think we did talk about show length, and your non-biased attitudes are very digestible. Keep up the good work. My wife and our 3 little girls are avid in our local moto scene and would greatly appreciate some moto giveaway merch. Great show, and keep it going strong. And he offered if I'm ever in the area, we'd love to ride or help out as a personal aid of any working events. So, again, Nick, thank you so much for that. That means a lot. Scott Toole sent in, super awesome to hear from Colt Nichols. That was last week on the show, as well as Benny previously. Loved both interviews. I think it would be good to hear from Carlin Gardner if possible. And, yeah, man, I'll reach out to Carlin. We'll get him on. It's been a long time since we've talked to him. Tyler Sutton said, hey, you guys should get a hold of Chris Canning for winning the J-Day Championship up here in New England. Love the show. That's actually a really good suggestion, too. Haven't talked to Chris in a while. Checker sent one in based off my Race Tech read last week, and you kind of explained valves and all that, and he said that you did a really good job. Let's see. Yeah, he said, TJ, thanks to TJ for providing the backup 100% correct on the description. So good job, TJ.
Huh.
You're welcome. That's the only compliment you're going to get, and that was from Checkers.
The Checkers is the man, and he's like one of my favorite persons, and we're best friends now.
Absolutely. DJ Hall said, I just emailed for a chance for the FXR stuff, but figured I'd also mention I'm a first-time listener. I listen to the Pulp Show all the time and see the brutal abuse you put up with. Just wanted to give some positive feedback on your show. Keep doing what you're doing. Also, next time you're at the Pulp compound, can we get an actual measurement on those ceilings? Are we talking 10, 20, or 30 feet? DJ, I don't know if I have a tape that long, and I don't know how the hell I'd get it up there.
I've got a laser tape measure that I will send.
Is it like 30-foot, 40-foot ceilings?
It probably goes up to the second floor. That's all it is.
Just like an open.
Yeah,
like an open way.
I think it's definitely, but it's not. It's like 2 floors. Typically, would be what, about 16?
I don't know.
Plus or minus the individual. It's more than that. I think it's probably 25.
My son's house is like that.
Yeah.
My oldest son's house, it's like when you.
It might be 30.
When you're in the living room,
But I don't think so.
It's as high. I mean, like, I don't know how they change the light bulb up there. Like, seriously.
No, you'd have to get like scaffolding or something.
He said, my son said they have a pole that like extends, and then
sense.
it has a little deal that grabs
like
the bulb.
Yep.
Something like that. But yeah.
DJ went on to say, I know you've recently done a few GNCCs, and they do seem cool. I have not raced any of them, but have done a few AWRCS races, which are a similar, smaller scale in my area, Western Pennsylvania. Another off-road series that has caught my eye, which I plan to try, the U.S. Sprint Enduros. He goes on, but yeah, DJ, I think I'd like to try, some of those Sprint Enduros also. Zaphod Beeblebrox sent in another email, and again, yes, Highway. The fuck did I call that? What is that book called?
Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, Jesus, it's The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh,
I started reading that once. I never fit, but it went, like I remember that name, Zaphod Beeblebrox. From that,
I think now that you said that, that sounds rings a bell. I've only seen that movie like 500 times.
I tried watching the movie and I just
I've never seen it.
It's a pretty famous book, but it's like almost a cult book. Like really, like it's almost like Lord of the Rings-ish, I think, where there are people that read it over and over and over and just obsessed with it. But Zaphod says, what's y'all's prediction for Max Anstey, which we sort of touched on, in 2024 Supercross? No one is talking about him as a contender, but he's really solid year last year. He spent a lot of time on the podium, even got a race win. I think he'll be in the mix, and I agree.
Don't you think he like fizzled out?
He
like, you know what I'm saying? Like it came in with a head of steam.
Some downtime.
So you know how they usually say that like you can't win the championship in the first round, but you can lose it, kind of thing. I think he was kind of the opposite. Like I think he
sort of petered out.
Well, he got himself into a position where he was in points, and then he kind of just maintained.
I certainly think he's capable of being a podium guy and a championship contender. So I am not taking him out of that contention. Like I'm not going to say nope, he doesn't have a chance for any. I think he definitely has a legitimate chance. He'll have to stay consistently.
Because Thrasher got hurt, and then like Jordan Smith missed a main and stuff like that.
I'm not writing him off.
I think he can. I put him, to answer the question, I would put him podium to 4th or 5th, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Last one here, and this actually came from Instagram. I kind of said I wouldn't really use these on air, but this guy, Glenn_V_ called us out, and I think it was a little bit fair on all of us. Hey, mate, sorry not emailing, but I was a big listener of the wrap-up show and then followed your pods to the Vital Network. I got to say, for the most part, enjoyed your honesty and kookiness, but your latest Vital episodes, I feel, are constant bagging on anything World Supercross or Australian Supercross. I've been critical of some of the World Supercross, but at the end of the day, Melbourne Supercross was better than at least some of the worst or average Supercross live races.
Why are you lumping us into this? That's
because you, TJ, were like, I don't care.
You kind of did.
I don't care about
and
the World
I
Supercross.
said I don't care that much.
And I said the track was pretty cool at that one, but I couldn't tell what was going on because it was like 2 races.
Yeah, but you were kind of like, whatever. I don't really care. And
I don't care
for the Aussies. Like, hey, let
just
me finish.
so he knows. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Don't piss on Australians constantly, which I don't think we do that, man. We love our Aussies. How we just had Luke Clout on.
Yeah.
Nick and Trent, formerly from Moto Limited. We love those guys. And
Mighty Car Mods is the best.
That had more. If anything, it had more to do with the series than
because Paris. I didn't give a crap about Paris either. It has nothing to do with.
Yeah. So I do want to say again, yeah, Glenn, definitely don't mean like I certainly don't want to offend you guys, Australians. We love Australians. There was some good racing. I didn't find it as exciting as American Supercross, but he's not completely wrong. At least there was some racing going on. Scotty, anything?
Yeah, I remember saying that I was glad that there was racing and that I liked the track. I didn't poo-poo anything.
And just so he knows, like it has nothing to do with Australia and the World Supercross thing.
We love you, cunts.
So the only thing I would say is it's just the whole buildup. I was actually, if anybody goes back and listens, I was amped about World Supercross.
Yeah.
I was really excited about it. And then as the series slowly burned away and petered off like Anstey's season, then I was less and less excited about it.
And by the way, if you're an American and especially happen to be a female listening to this and don't understand, cunt is a positive in Australia. It's like saying, "What's up, buddy?" Please don't be offended. I have had somebody reach out, and my wife was sort of offended by you saying cunt, and I was like, and I explained, and they were like, "Oh, okay," but yeah, just if you listen to the show, just don't be offended, man. We don't mean anything negative. We're just having fun. Okay, two more segments, and we'll wrap this thing up.
I'm offended when he calls me an idiot.
Yeah, you shouldn't be offended. I mean,
you've literally said I'm an idiot.
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
You shouldn't be offended by that. I mean, like, why you're an idiot?
But that's true.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the idiot.
The only drop he ever uses.
Yeah, it's the only one you have, I think.
Thanks to that guy earlier.
Oh shit, that's David Bradshaw's bike. I just fucked up. Can't fucking believe I did that.
There you go. Okay, Motul Shine and Go. Give your ride at Shine back. The Motul E10 Shine and Go is our go-to detailer for all of our bikes. Motul E10 Shine and Go sprays clean and restores plastic
I want to try that stuff.
Restores plastic to like new condition while leaving a protective film that repels dirt and grime. It smells like citrus, which is almost as cool as your garage smelling like race gas. You can find this and our entire Motul Power Sports product lineup at shopmotul.com or go to your local dealership and ask for Motul products. If you go to shopmotul.com, use the promo code VITAL20 to receive 20% off your order of $50 or more. This week, we're changing it from the Motul TJ's Tech Tip because TJ said it's really hard to come up with a tech tip.
I came up with one too.
Every week.
Yeah, since he's here so
Thank you.
times.
That's what I said. You come like once a month. That's 12
It would be so much easier
tips.
if somebody asked questions, but I don't think y'all realize that.
Well, we're going to skip it this week. We have a new segment that we're going to try.
I love it.
We're going to do the Motul Top 5. And sorry for those that just want to hear the motocross stuff. We are doing our top 5 favorite cereals.
All right.
Okay. Neither one of you, I was a little disappointed, really care about cereal as much as I do. I'm going to go first. Okay? We're going to start with 5.
Okay.
And this was very difficult for me because I freaking love cereal.
I don't understand how it could be. Anyways,
it's my favorite food group.
But okay, but
which I can't eat as much anymore.
Anyways,
what were we gonna say? There's so many cereals. There's like 500 different cereals.
I don't think there's that many.
There probably is. Have you?
I bet there's at least 100 if you go down that aisle.
No, if you look where all the bags and stuff are, there's not that many selections.
I knew when I was coming up with this idea and texting you, I was like, TJ's going to go to the Malto Meal.
Hey,
you have to. It's the same thing.
I didn't put.
It is not the same thing.
I didn't put one of those like off-brand ones in my list, but it should be. But I stuck to the name brand stuff.
Well, let me get mine.
Well, hold on. This is not part of my list, but there was one that was called blueberry muffin tops, and it was like a blueberry like muffin. I don't know. That was dank.
Okay.
But I didn't put it in there because I kept it.
Yeah.
I kept it name brand.
Well, I'm going to go starting from 5: Apple Jacks, Cocoa Krispies, Frosted Krispies, which aren't even made anymore, but those were my jam. Fruity Pebbles, and at number 1, Captain Crunch.
Oh, you didn't even have the best one in there.
Those are all
honorable mention. Boo Berry, which only comes out around Halloween, and maple and brown sugar frosted mini wheats, which once again are not made anymore. Yeah, those are mine.
Those are like those are worst.
Horrible. Those are disgusting.
There is no way. Like Captain Crunch and Fruity Pebbles have to be in everybody's top 3.
Yeah,
Fruity Pebbles are okay,
dude.
I mean, if they didn't make them anymore, I could damn sure live
Captain
without
Crunch
them.
is
Like
the
if you're
number
gonna
one.
eat Captain Crunch, just go buy a box of nails. It's probably cheaper.
No, nails are very expensive. And how does that compare?
They're
though?
like they always say that like it messes up the roof of your mouth.
Or like eating like a what do you call it? A Butterfinger.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the
That's on
idiot.
you.
Yeah, that's on Scotty for sure. Go buy a box of nails.
Yeah, hey, pieces
All right,
of shit that you eat
who's
for breakfast.
Go ahead, TJ.
Okay.
Well, no, you have a story. You go, Scotty. You go next.
Fair enough.
What is he?
TJ has a story.
What do you mean? Why
A
does that have to be a
childhood
story?
story about cereal.
Oh, okay.
So we'll close this segment out with him.
My top 5, which it's been a long time since I really
I'm gonna go
cereal.
buy cereal now.
Yeah, it has actually made me want to go get some. But
Maybe we should do that instead of McRibs. We'll
No,
just-
McRibs. No, McRibs are better.
Oh
than
yeah, we're going
cereal.
for McRibs again. I don't know if we said that on air
No,
tonight.
McRibs for sure. McRibs for life.
That's a what do you call it? That's like what do you call it when you do something every time? That's a tradition now
Tradition.
until they're gone.
Yeah, McRibs for life.
McRibs. Since we're not doing another episode,
That's true.
My top 5 are I'm gonna go with honeycombs at 5,
Okay, it's not a bad one.
Tricks at 4.
Tricks was on my almost list.
Yeah. Cinnamon Toast Crunch at 3.
It's way too far down.
Honey Bunches of Oats at 2.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Oh, with the almonds and it's the little clusters. Oh, the clusters.
That's a
are
texture
so good.
one for me. I don't
I
like.
like
I like
it.
the clusters. I'm with you.
Yeah, and then number 1 is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
I haven't had that, but I heard that's really good.
So good.
Yeah,
I guess after McDonald's, I'll make a run through the grocery store.
the Reese's Peanut Butter
I'll add
Cups.
that. I need to try it. I'll give you that one.
It used to have the old commercial. It's Reese's for breakfast.
So I think ours are actually mine and his are pretty close. And then CBH posted one up that reminded me of that moved into my 5th spot was Lucky Charms, the knockoff version.
Oh my god!
But hold on.
Did he say the knockoff
No,
version? You're saying the
I'm saying the knockoff version. But
TJ
listen,
is the most high top dude I've ever seen in my life.
You're right about that. I will, but the
high top's not even a thing.
I know
anymore,
that's
but
what I think of him when I think of high top.
Yeah.
the Lucky Charms knockoff version has a lot more like of the little marshmallows in it. It does.
But do they taste as good? See,
They're
you'll
just
say
as
yes.
Good. They're just as good.
You're
yes.
a liar. You're a liar.
Like, why did they should have just made it with the marshmallows because that's the only reason.
Well, they
ate
do
it.
that like with the Captain Crunch. They do like oops berries.
Oh,
oops.
yeah.
We made a batch with only berries.
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
So then the Frosted Flakes with no milk.
Really? No milk.
It's like eating
Like
like
a
popcorn.
chips?
I love
Okay.
it. I love Frosted Flakes. Anyways,
Frosted Flakes are like popcorn, or just eating it.
no, it's like popcorn. I don't like popcorn, but like if we're like going to watch a movie at the house,
Okay,
I would
okay.
eat it instead
Yeah,
of
yeah.
popcorn. Yep. The honey bunches of oats was kind of, isn't that what you said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, that stuff's really good.
There's a couple of different versions of it.
Yeah, they're all kind of
flavors.
the same
Yeah.
thing. But the Reese's, number 2. And number 1 cannot be beat. It doesn't matter if you buy the cheap one. Doesn't matter if you buy the expensive one. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the best cereal ever made, period.
I disagree, but I will. This is gonna being the cereal connoisseur I am. I literally just had my first bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch in this last week.
That's so good.
Dude,
For some
no
reason,
wonder your list, you haven't had peanut butter cups. You just now had Cinnamon Toast Crunch. No wonder your list is.
But he has it's 5 miles long, but he hasn't had the good cereals.
Yeah, are we all in conjunction that Darkside loses on this list?
Yes.
MotoXpod,
I don't know if that's the right word, conjunction.
MotoXpod@gmail.com. I want your thoughts on our cereal list. Why I was right. Or if I was wrong, I won't acknowledge that those exist. But yeah, let's send them in. I will give you Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I loved it. I didn't. I don't know why I was so adamant about that. I wouldn't like it.
It's so good.
But I tried it. I love it. And I went through the whole box in a couple
I haven't
days.
had the French Toast Crunch.
Don't tell Troll, please.
I haven't had that.
Yeah.
You haven't tried what?
They have a French Toast Crunch now.
I saw that when I went to buy
and
that. I was torn.
And they have a churros one.
Dude.
Don't buy the churros Kit Kats. They're gross.
You being the Wendy's fan, remember I sent you a picture of the Frosties. They had like a Wendy's Frosty cereal.
I went and bought some.
Was it any good?
Yes.
Okay.
It's delicious.
So
real quick.
Cereal. What's your story?
Real quick. When I was a kid, I wanted grape nuts real bad. And my mom's like, those are going to be gross. You're not going to eat those.
They sound gross.
You put them in yogurt, right?
I'm like, I really want grape nuts because it's grape nut cereal. You know what I mean? And I was all about it. My mom's like, no. At our house, like if you bought cereal, you had to eat it all before you got any more of that kind of rule. And so I went down there that day. I went down there, poured me a big old bowl of what wound up being basically dirt and rocks.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
Why is it called grape nuts?
There's
no grapes in it.
There's no grapes. There's no nuts. There's nothing but just crap. And so I was like, oh, this is terrible, but I can't
like Apple Jacks. There's no apples.
I can't throw it away. I made a big fuss about wanting this.
Yeah.
And so like every morning for however long that box lasts, I'd go outside and I'd sprinkle some over the fence. You know what I'm talking about? And then I remember one morning in particular where I was like, I was a little extra hungry today and sprinkled a little more out trying to make it. So I went for like a week with no breakfast because I had to slowly make it go away. Yep.
No, my dad used to give us grape nuts with yogurt. Like you would put
I think people do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at with Cheerios? Regular Cheerios.
They're like for babies.
It's like the worst cereal.
I kind of would. I would eat them. I'd rather have them just like a snack. Toss some Cheerios back. Yeah.
Honey Nut Cheerios, you can do that.
Honey Nut Cheerios
but the plain Cheerios?
Oh, never mind. I thought we were talking about Honey Nut
No,
Cheerios.
regular plain ass Cheerios.
Yeah.
Even Wheaties. Like Wheaties sucks.
No.
Is Wheaties the frosted thing?
No, that's Frosted Flakes. They do have frosted.
I mean, frosted.
There's a box of them right there with Dungy on them. Just plain old Wheaties.
I don't think I've ever ate Wheaties.
Yeah, I don't think they're very good. They're not good. They're not. Yeah. I think Cheerios would be my least favorite of all the cereals.
I like how 3 of his were like they don't even make them in this anymore because they're terrible.
Yeah, that's why they stopped
2
making
of
them.
Dude, Frosted Crispy. Dude, Rice Krispie Treat cereal was incredible,
was
and they quit making that too. So you can't put that in the category. Frosted Krispies were fucking awesome. And
when I was growing up, I'd go spend a couple weeks every summer at one of my aunt's house, and she was real frugal, just just always made sure that they ate everything that they did and stuff.
Oh,
and what they would do is they'd buy like the off-brand like Rice Krispie treats, and then that would be like the base of your cereal, and then you throw the Cocoa Puffs on top, so you're not just eating just straight Cocoa Puffs.
I used to mix my cereal just because I like to.
just to kind of get more bang for your buck, and I thought that was good.
That's another one. You guys like Corn Pops? The yellow.
I went with honeycombs instead.
I love Corn Pops.
I went with honeycombs instead.
I like Corn Pops better than honeycombs, but honeycombs are
less.
underappreciated.
I like you less.
They don't
now.
still make
That's
Cookie
like
Crisp,
Kix.
do they?
Yeah, I think so.
Cookie Crisp was good too.
I think I had that once, but it wasn't one of my favorites. But
you like Kix then too, didn't you?
I used to love Berry Kicks.
God.
And then they changed
I literally
the
want to
formula.
say curse words.
Then they changed the formula, and they weren't as good. I remember when Gunner was born around '97. I was probably eating a box a week.
Y'all might have. Do y'all remember when they?
We're gonna do 20 minutes.
I don't
eat
cereal.
breakfast. This is awesome.
Do y'all remember when they did
football or fucking cereal, guys?
Cereal X-Pod.
Do y'all remember when they did Oreos?
We should do like a taste test every week.
It was like Oreos.
Yeah, I think they still have those.
They still have those.
There's some cereal. Like
heard of them.
I was googling cereal stuff too, and there was like a bunch of one-offs that used to happen, and a lot of like there'd be the Star Wars cereal and the Barbie cereal. Those are kind of those one-offs.
Yeah. Makes sense.
The Halloween, like I said, the Boo Berry. I also like the Frankenberry.
I've never had those.
Really?
Frankenberry was good.
Which one?
Oh wait, what was the one with the
Count Chocula?
That's
Count
the one
Chocula.
good, yeah.
I think there were some other ones that didn't stick around as long, but those 3 were the kind of the staples.
Wait, what was your top 5 again?
Apple Jacks.
Yeah.
Cocoa Krispies.
Yeah.
I could have went Fruit Loops instead of Apple Jacks, but
I thought you said Fruit Loops.
No, Fruity Pebbles was my two. And
Fruity Pebbles is good.
Yeah, the Flintstones, right?
Yeah.
You get a lot. Like it's a good deal too. Like they
because they're so small. It
Yeah.
seems like you're getting so much.
So many of it.
Yeah.
Sporting Wood just said diabetes.
Diabetes.
Yeah, guys don't tell Troll. I'm not really eating a lot of that now, but I have been. Well, I bought the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I pretty much demolished that whole box in a week. But other than that, I haven't been eating cereal in a long time.
Were you doing it with like skim milk or
2%?
2%? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? It's just watered down milk. Just buy some regular milk and water it down.
Milk's not good for you, supposedly.
Milk is so good for you. I like to try to eat things that I don't eat vegetables.
Dairy's not good for you anyway.
That's baloney.
All right. Let's wrap this thing up. Last segment of the night: the Prox highs and lows. Rooted in racing from motocross to off-road, supporting teams like Pro Circuit Kawasaki and Pro Yamaha and SLR Honda. Prox has been dedicated to supplying quality components since 1975, from complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance like filters, chains, and sprockets. I bet Scotty wishes he went to Prox because they aim to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. Find Prox at your local dealer or online retailer. Visit prox-usa.com to search for parts for your bike. I said that because you're not getting your parts for 2 years.
He's got the piston. He's got all that stuff. He's just waiting on the head.
Well, you should have got it from
Or
Prox.
cylinder, I guess.
Prox highs and lows. I'll go first. Niners beating the Eagles. Scott Foster, who we briefly talked about last week, is part of one of the members at Cycle Land.
Yeah.
They do still have that property for now. Maybe a number of years. They don't know how long it's going to be before they start.
Let's go ride.
So, well, he invited us down. I don't know how many can come, but like the weekend of New Year's Eve, they're going to go down there and shoot fireworks off and ride. I'm leaving that Sunday. I might be able to go Saturday night.
I'm in.
So but anyway, that was a high when I got that call today. Lows, no racing this weekend, and the fact that I can't ride this weekend, and I didn't get to ride last weekend because some I shared the teeth off the sprocket, and I haven't been able to get another set of sprockets and chains in. So that's my highs and lows. Scotty?
I'm going next. No, you go next, TJ.
Okay. TJ?
Actually, they're kind of the same thing. I bought that land next door, had no plans to do anything with it. And my high is the dirt up there winds up being absolutely amazing. And the low is the dirt's up there absolutely amazing. And I spent a bunch of time building the track. So,
all right. I like it.
Yeah, I guess my high was that the Eagles lost. And my low was that the 49ers I didn't really want them to win by that much because now everybody's talking about how awesome the 49ers are. So
they've been the best
it was kind of a
team all
lose-lose, but it set up the Cowboys good for this weekend. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
There won't be a show next week, but my high will be the Eagles beating the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I know you don't. Okay, guys. Thanks to our title sponsors, Race Tech and Boyesen, and all of our sponsors, including X Brand. What's up? Oh, Pro X, Guts, FXR, 60, Motul, WSA. Is it chat room stuff? What we got? Okay. I also want to thank Nate Thrasher, Bubba Pauli, and Luke Clout for the interviews. Nothing that we can talk about on air. You're just going to laugh and let the listeners wonder what's going on?
No, our listeners know what's going on.
Not all of them, because they don't all
Dino said, I'm not down with pork. And then I typed in there, pork is amazing. But I typed it real fast, and I put the word porn is amazing.
I love it. YouTube chat, guys. Wednesday nights when we're doing live shows. If you got time, join in.
Amazing.
Yeah.
MotoXpod@gmail.com for any of your thoughts, getting involved. Give us your top 5 serials. Give us your riders you're interested in watching, why you're interested in watching them. What were some of the other ones? Podcasts, anything else, any topics, anything you want us to talk about. No show the next couple weeks. I think the next show is going to be the week leading into A1. I should be in California by then. We'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for listening. We are out.